What is up, everybody? It's me, EC1. Yeah, I'm not happy still, as you can see. We got to talk about where's our future with this team. Where's this future with this team? If this team completely lost confidence, without a shadow of doubt, they lost confidence in their head coach yesterday. This Eagles team is trash. We all know that. Kevin Butullo is trash. We all know that. But does the ownership know that? Will they actually make a move and fire the offense coordinator or fire the head coach after this year? You know, when I talk about guys that I think would fit this offense, I look at guys like Lincoln Riley. And I say, man, if you can get an offensive mind, watching the Bears, Ben Johnson, his creativity on was off the chart phenomenal. You saw motion, misdirection. We don't run that. We don't run RPOs. They ran RPOs. They ran misdirection. They ran slants. They ran drag routes. They ran everything. They made Caleb Williams comfortable. What do? We make Jalen Hurts uncomfortable. I think that Jalen Hurts is immensely broken. And Nick Sirianni and Kevin Butullo did that by having a bad game plan that does not work. This offense is garbage. And I'm sorry, but you cannot tell me that this offense has looked good. You can't tell me. I'm not trying to hear, oh, it will get better. It's not going to get better. It's not going to get better. We're in a crisis right now. This offense is trash. This offense is garbage. It's a joke. I don't know how you can sit there and look forward to anything. This offense makes me want to vomit. I hate this offense. I hate this freaking offense with a passion. I hate this team right now. It's not playing good football right now. Defense gave up 100 yards in the run. When do you ever see that? If we do lose this season, I do not want a regular coach. I want an offensive mind. Go get me Kubiak from the Seahawks. Go get me Lincoln Riley. Go get me Lane Kifflin. Go get me an offensive mind that's going to be good for this team. Because this team right now is struggling. You are not helping your quarterback by putting him in a bad situation. And yes, Jalen Hurts didn't play great. I know that. He had one of his worst games. He's been having a bad year. He has not seen the field. He's been atrocious this year. And I want to see what we do with offensive mind. I got to come in there right away and be that guy. Because I think it's the coaching. I really do. I think the coaching is trash. The coaching is horrendous. There should be no way your offense should look this piss poor. And it is. Your offense look garbage, man. They don't know how to run the football. They don't have any game plan. This offense is bad. Kevin Batulo has to go. Nick Sirianni, if he continues, has to go. You can't have this offense looking like this every year. We cannot rely on his head coach to finally decide, oh, hey, let me get an offense coordinator and then go back to the same shit. This shit is terrible. I've never seen a dysfunctional coaches like this in my life. And I've been an Eagle fan for a long time. Everybody talk about, oh, you should calm down. It's no, man, this is so stressful. How can I calm down? This offense is too much to just waste. It's the most expensive offense, and you can't find a game plan? You can't put a game plan? Kevin Batulo is terrible at his job, man. Nick Sirianni is terrible at his job, man. The whole offense is horrendous. I honestly want Nick fired, bro. I'd want him fired if he collapsed this week. I mean, collapsed this year. I want Kubiak or I want Lincoln Riley. Because at this point, I think you do your quarterback disservice by not firing Nick if he collapses. If I'm the Philadelphia Eagles, I would call up Lincoln Riley if we do fire a coach. I'll bring him in. Why do you say that, Ace One? Because we need an offensive mind. We need someone who believes in quarterback-friendly system. Watching Ben Johnson made me realize this offense ain't on the same level as the Bears. This offense ain't competing against the best teams in this division, in this conference. You're not beating the Seahawks playing like this. You're not beating. We talk about the Rams. We barely beat the Rams, but it's like you cannot continue to play like this. You can't compete against these teams. Look at their offense. Look at Ben Johnson's offense compared to ours. I saw motion. I saw slants. The designs were perfect. And then I look at ours and it's like, holy cow. It looked bad. Let me give you a glimpse of what Ben Johnson ran. Give me a second, man. Let me give you a glimpse of what Ben Johnson ran. Sorry, it's morning. I know it's morning, guys. Get your coffee. And come listen to EC1 because we're not done. I'm not done with this team. I couldn't sleep last night. But I want you to watch the creativity. Give me a second, man. Give me a second. I want y'all to see something, man. This is what I'm talking about, the creativity. And we don't have that, bro. We don't have that. We got a offense. We got an offense that's not creative. Yeah, let me bring this up real quick. Let me bring this up real quick. There you go. Let me share. Shit. You want to know the difference between our offense and this offense? This is the difference between our offense and other teams' offense. Okay. Look at this, man. Look at the creativity. Do you see the motion? Do you see the play calling? Look at this. Look at the designs. Look at the creating routes. That's a running game. That's what our offense should look like. Look at the designs. Look at what Ben Johnson did, and look what our offense looked like. That's an offense. That's offensive designs. That is an offensive coach. We don't have that. That's what an offense should look like. You see the difference between our offense and their offense? Look at the blocking. Look at the space. That's what Kellen Moore did last year, and it so worked last year, man. That's why Saquon was able to get those yards. Because you had motion. You had creative matchups. Everything is bunched up in offense. This is the offense that reigns smooth. Look at the offense. Poor tackling, by the way. But again, look at the mismatches. Look at the creativity. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. It's a shame. It's a shame. It's a shame you don't have an offense like this. This should be now. Could you imagine what a Devontae Smith would do in this offense? Could you imagine what A.J. Brown would have done? Did you imagine what Jalen Hurts would look like with a Ben Johnson type offensive mind? We see what we've seen it. We have a players issue, quarterback issue. Not a coaching malpractice. You are completely look like this. Okay, I want y'all to see this, man. Give me a second. Watch this. Ready? Give me a second. All right, give me a second. We have a coaching malpractice. Do you see what I'm saying, man? Because again, look at this, man. The design routes. Look at the space, man. Look at the space. Hold up, let me show you. Put it up. Look at this. Look at the route. Look at the space for this running back, man. They're not jump up. Look at that. Beautiful execution by the. You see your screen is black. Huh? Hold up. Y'all can't see what I'm doing? Hold up. I'll fix it. Give me a second. What happened? Hold up. Let me see. Give me a second. Hold up. Let me go to my thing. Hold up. Said my screen's black. Shouldn't be. Hold up. Give me a second. All right, let me see if I can fix this. Y'all can't see what I'm doing? Hold up. Give me a second. Hold up. Let me see what it looks like. What's wrong with it? Oh, I can see it now. Yeah, I'm about to say. But you see the motion. You see the motion. The offense look explosive. And then I look at this. Look at this offense right here. What in there? Hold up, let me find it. Where's it at? Oh, here we go. What is this? At what point is this not coaching malpractice? What is this? Where do the quarterback go with this situation? Look at this, jumbled up, nobody getting open. This is 3rd and 13, I believe. Do you see the difference? Because I do. Where is the quarterback supposed to go with this? This is shit. This shit is trash, man. This is a joke. At what point does this offensive coordinator and this head coach not get the boot? This is disgraceful. How is this an offense of Gurura? How is this an offense right here? What is this offense, man? This ain't an offense. This looks like you just threw a play out there and hope it sticks. Hope it works. What is this trash? And that is my problem. This is why I say this coach has to go. Because it's not about just the offense corner at this point. It's the fact that you're now making it a personal problem to the players now. This coach has been a non-factor why this offense has been winning. All I hear about is his wins and totals. Well, he's winning because of this talent around him. I want a guy like a Kubiak from Seattle. I want a guy like a Lincoln Riley. A guy that's a quarterback-friendly system. A guy that's going to be not afraid to take some shots. A guy that's going to be able to get guys open. This offense stinks. And it's disgraceful. It's pitiful that you are wasting a expensive offense for coaching malpractice that shouldn't even be a factor. Your offense is horrendous. Jeffrey Lurie got to sit back and say, man, I might have made a mistake by giving Nick Sirianni a contract. If we collapse, because I think we're going to collapse this year, then I think you got to go and you got to fire Nick. You got to bring an offensive mind. I don't want an Andy Reid tree guy. I want a guy like a McVay offensive guru, a guy that came from McVay tree, a guy that came from a Kyle Shanahan tree, a guy that's going to put our guys in the right position to succeed. He said notice how most offense definitely. He said it perfectly. He nailed it right there with that. Notice how most successful offense uses 2 running backs, mix it up, change a pace. We don't do that. Why wasn't Bigsby not involved? When he's your best running back on your roster right now. He averaged 7.6 per carry. Like he averaged every time he gets the ball. It's a 7-game pop off the spot. 7-yard pop off the spot, man. He runs with physical ability. He clearly hits holes. We got a coaching problem, ladies and gentlemen. At what point do we not say, you know what, maybe Nick is not the right coach for us going forward? We thank you for what you did, but it's time for you to go. It's time for you to go. All you did was replace Doug Peterson with another Doug Peterson. You were supposed to get this guy that could call plays, and this guy came and called plays. Wasn't Nick supposed to call plays? Wasn't this guy supposed to be a guru? How was he supposed to fix Carson Wentz? Because remember, they hired him to fix Carson Wentz. How was he? I don't see how he would have fixed Carson Wentz now when you look at it. How would he fix Carson Wentz? He can't even fix himself. This guy's all talk, man. He's not about action. And just what point do you not give him the boot? Nick Sirianni is a Brett Brown, a motivator speaker, but when it comes to coaching, calling plays, he can't do that. You either got to fire him or you got to take play calling from him permanently. I would just fire the head coach and bring an offensive career mind like a Kubiak from Seattle, a guy like a Lincoln Riley, and let him run his offense. Bring a guy that is different than what we had before, guy that has experience, knows how to call plays. Maybe you bring a Kubiak because that'd be the safer choice. You know, maybe not college, but bring a guy that's from NFL like a Kubiak that learned under the former head coach for the Broncos, been in the system, Gary Kubiak. Bring a guy like that in, man. You bring a guy that's experienced, man, and a guy like Clint Kubiak would be the first choice I would go after because I think that he's an absolute guru. Look what he's doing with Seattle and Sam Darnold. This offense doesn't need to be retooled. It doesn't need to be revamped. It's not like we need to get rid of guys. We need to get rid of coaches. The only two need to pack their bags is Nick and KP. If they can't win a division, you got to fire Nick, in my opinion. If you don't win a division, you got to fire Nick. And I'm hiring Clint Kubiak off the spot as the head coach. That's my choice. Or Lincoln Riley. Because you got to bring someone who can help Jalen Hurts. This guy's not helping Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts went from being a top 5 quarterback, a Super Bowl MVP, to looking like Nathan Peterman out there. And we haven't seen this. It's not like we haven't seen this the first time. We've seen this in 2023. This guy needs good coaching around. Any quarterback needs good coaching around him. No quarterback's going to see. I don't care who these haters love saying, oh, Jalen Hurts is trash. No, man. Because any quarterback would fail in this system. This system wouldn't succeed with Josh Allen as the quarterback. This is a bad coaching system. It doesn't matter who you put out there. I said this in 2023, and I said this in 2020. It's worse than 2023. We have never seen this type of offense. 2023, you were at least productive. You were scoring points. You're not even scoring points in this offense. The Bears, Swift, Magoo, Lions, Gibbs, Montgomery, even Dallas with Williams. And yeah. You got to fire Nick if you can't get this right. You got to fire Nick. Because at what point do you not say to the head coach, what do you do? What do you do? What does Nick do? And I keep going back to it. What does he do? What does he do? What does he do? Can't call plays. When things get hard, he falls apart along with the team. You know, at least with Doug, he was able to get these guys to somewhat get motivated. And we went on a playoff run. This is the second time you're about to watch an offense collapse, and Howie Roseman and Jeff Lurie just going to let it happen? Is he going to let it happen? Will Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman do something before he gets bad? I don't know. This offense is stale. Everybody knows what you're doing. It's predictable. They talk about Kevin Butullo. Jalen Hurts not reading the field. Jalen Hurts, I don't think it's just not reading the field. I think he's just done with it. I think he just understands this offense is trash, and I'm not going to even try. Jalen Hurts has said, you know what? If you want to force me in this offense, I'm not going to play behind your rules. And that's a fact. What the fuck? What the fuck just happened? Sorry with that. But I think that you need to bring a guy who can help Jalen Hurts, man. A guy that knows how to run an offense. A guy that is an offense of mind. And if you fire Nick this year, which I think is a possibility, listen, Nick continues the way he is and he's not making adjustments, the Eagles could definitely fire him. It's not possible. They fired Doug Peterson. Why would they not fire Nick? They showed it many times. If they can't do the job, they'll get him up out of here. But my problem with Jeff Lurie is, Jeff Lurie, are you going to hire a guy just a regular puppet again? Or are you going to hire a guy that actually could call plays? Are you going to let someone actually run their own offense? Clint Kubiak would be a guy that I would love to have. He knows how to run an offense. He calls plays. I like his system. I like the fact that he gets guys open. He has a lot of motion. A guy's that he has a friendly offense for a quarterback. He got a quarterback friendly offense. And you need a quarterback friendly offense to win in this league. And we don't got a quarterback friendly offense. We got an offense that ain't friendly. That's horrendous. And it's a joke. Your receivers can't get open. Your quarterback has regressed. I mean, he's not even the same quarterback. I believe. I think he's not accurate as what he was. Last year he was accurate. 2 years ago he was accurate. He's not been accurate this year. His deep ball has been bad. And I don't think that's something that, that can't be coached. No, it can definitely be coached. But you got to have the right coach. And I don't think Nick is the right coach to get the best out of Jalen Hurts. I think that a guy like a Clint Kubiak or Lincoln Riley would get the best out of Jalen Hurts because I think the system would fit perfectly for him. You don't have a system for a quarterback. You got a system that doesn't fit him. You're trying to put a square peg in a round hole, and it doesn't work. This offense is booty juice. This offense is horrendous. I don't even think it's an offense. I don't. It's not offense. It's not offense. This offense is trash, man. How are you this bad, dude? How are you this bad? How are you this piss poor as an offense? We got to sit back and we got to say, bro, is it the players or is it the real coaching? I think it's the coaching. The players were executing. You saw when Jalen can throw the ball when he wants to. You saw it. You saw what the throw to A.J. Brown. He has to play Superman for us to have a chance to win, man. And it's crazy that you have him in this situation. You shouldn't have that. It also is affecting him that he's had an offensive coordinator he hasn't had an offensive coordinator in the last 2 years now. I mean, he hasn't had an offensive coordinator more than 2 years. Every year he has a new offensive coordinator. This will be his fourth head coach. I'm sorry, this will be his third head coach that he would have if we fire Nick. Along with another offense coordinator, a brand new system. That's why I want a coach that can call plays. So we don't have to revert to again another offense coordinator, worry about an offense coordinator leaving. When a coach can call plays, you don't have to worry about that. You don't got to worry about a coach leaving if he can call plays. You wouldn't have to worry about the offense coordinator leaving because you know your offense coordinator is your head coach. And you need a coach that can call plays, not a coach who's a Brett Brown motivator speaker. And I like Nick, but Nick is not a motivator when you need him, when things collapse. He's nowhere to be found. And I think it just shows that Jalen Hurts was the real reason why Nick got a Super Bowl. The offense around you was the real reason why Nick got a Super Bowl. Nick didn't do anything to win that game. That offense was bailing Nick out. And without Kellen Moore's experience, I don't think we win a Super Bowl. I don't think we win a Super Bowl. Nick has had good offense coordinators, and when he has good offense coordinators, he's fine. The problem is when he doesn't have offense coordinators, he falls apart. And if I'm Jeffrey Lurie and he fails another year and you collapse, you got to fire him. You got to go get an offensive coordinator / head coach that knows how to call plays. Why continue to have the same coach? Especially if you collapse, you can't bring that coach back. Nick Sirianni is a Brett Brown. He's a Brett Brown. A motivator speaker. That's all. You need an offensive mind. You need an offensive guru. You need an offensive coordinator / head coach that can call plays from the beginning. We don't have that. If you collapse the way you do, let's say you lose to the Chargers, do you keep the same head coach for another year and say, hey, we're going to bring the same coach back after he collapsed twice and the players don't buy into it? Because I don't think you can do that. I don't think you can keep AJ. I don't think you keep Devon. I don't know. I don't think you keep the same group, bro. If that's the case, because how can you get a team to buy into a system when it's collapsed twice already? Not the first time. This will be the second time. Last year, they gave you a benefit of doubt because you had an offense coordinator that has experience. These players know what offense coordinator looks like. They weren't born yesterday. When A.J. Brown was saying this offense isn't going to be, we bashing him. We were calling him a diva. I wasn't, but a lot of people were. And I think they owe him an apology. Because he was right. He was right once again. Now, could he handle the better way without the Twitch streams? Probably. But this just shows me that the coaching wasn't listening to the players. Because it's not just Jalen Hurts frustrated, I've been saying. It's Devontae Smith. It's A.J. Brown. It's Saquon Barkley. The sidelines reaction to these players on the sideline. You see the motion. The motion is not there anymore. They're motionless. Saquon looks like he's back with the Giants again. Dysfunctional. Can't get anything going. He's getting deja vu from the Giants again. Jalen Hurts is looking like he regressed a little. AJ and Devontae are trying to catch footballs with no play calling experience of an offense coordinator who's just throwing them, hey, go deep and hope we can hit a long ball. Rather than create guys open, we force guys open. We try to force a square peg in a round system. In a round hole, and it don't work. You cannot have an offense that forces balls to wide receivers. It won't last. Some of the throws to Jalen Hurts that Jalen Hurts made for the last couple weeks have been balls that Jalen Hurts just makes because he has to be perfect on the money. Jalen Hurts can't make mistakes. If he makes one turnover, the game is over. Where I've seen quarterbacks where they turn over the ball, their offense coordinator is good enough to get them out that situation. Their offense coordinator / head coach are able to bail them out because they got experience at calling plays. We don't have that. We got an inexperienced head coach who's a great motivator. Don't get me wrong, but can't call plays. And I think it messes with the team's chemistry. I think it throws a lot of players off. I think it destroys some trust in the locker room. I think they respect Nick. I don't think they think Nick is a good coach. I think they think he's a good motivator. But I don't think they think a guy like, Ben Johnson with the Bears players. Look at how Ben Johnson acts. You see how the players are pumped up for him? Did you see how they believe in him? That's a coach that I want on my football team. And did you see the creativity, the offensive mind? Why can't we not have a coach like that? It's like every time we get a coach, it's a guy that can't call plays. It's a guy that comes from Andy Reid Street. Another guy that can't call plays. I'm tired of people saying Andy Reid can call plays. Andy Reid can never call plays. That's why he needed to hire an offense coordinator. Why go to that tree? Why go to a coach tree? Why not go to McVay tree? Why not go to a Kyle Shanahan tree? If we fire Nick, I don't want to go to an Andy Reid tree anymore. I cut that tree down immediately. Cut that pipeline down immediately and go to McVay offense. Go to a Shanahan offense. We need to change our ways, and Jeff Lewis needs to change how he thinks. And I hope he's willing to do that. Because if you fire Nick and you hire another guy like Nick, you're not changing your ways. All you do is you're replacing the guy with the exact same guy. At that point, you might as well just keep Nick at that point. Might as well hire Doug Peterson back. There was no point of hiring Nick when you had a guy that was Nick and Doug. Except Doug was a better motivator in getting these guys pumped up, ready to play. They loved playing with Doug. And you fired him because you wanted a guy that could call plays, but you hired an inexperienced guy who can't call plays. That falls on Jeff Lewis and Howard Roseman. He said KP is Nick's puppet. He definitely is Nick's puppet. You're 100% right. He is Nick's puppet. That's why I don't understand. Oh, fire Nick. You can fire KP all you want. And KP deserves to be fired. He's not a good offense coordinator. Anybody thinks that KP is a good offense coordinator, you're lying. He's not. But it's back to Nick Sirianni's offense. Nick needs to be able to call plays, but he can't. And he hires guys within room. It's giving me Doug Pearson vibes, man. Remember, Doug Pearson got fired because he was too stubborn to turn over play calling. He didn't want to give up play calling. He wanted to do it his way. And Jeff Lewis said, you're fired, bro. Nick is the exact same way. Nick once again said, I'm not changing my ways. I'm not going to fire Kevin Batula. I'm going to keep the exact same offense coordinator and hope it works. When it has not worked, and we're in the week 12. Nick said yesterday that we have to go back and review. What is there to review? What is there to review? Dallas Goedert said the same thing that Lane Dixon said. They weren't even prepared. Dallas Goedert said, I've never seen this type of scheme in my lifetime. What? That is coaching. How are you not watching film? What are the coaches doing? Are they not watching film? We're seeing malpractice each and every day. Not just one time, not 2 times, not 3 times. Every single week. You get the same press conference over and over again. We're going to adapt. We're going to do this. But then comes out, you do none of that. You run the exact same plays over and over again. Run with Barkley. Throw the ball. Run with Barkley. Punt the ball. Jalen Hurts running to his right. Jalen Hurts holding the ball because no one gets open because you have play calling like this. You got play calling like this. Hold on. Let me take it off. You got play calling like this, man. What is this? Let me make it bigger. You got play calling like this shit, dude. This is a joke. This ain't offensive mind scheme that's going to get guys open. This is what is this, man? This is like something I played in Madden. This is a high school football level offense, a play call. This is what you expect if you had a high school football team. If you want a junior versatility offense. Junior versatility offense. Junior versatile offense, excuse me. This is a junior versatility offense, man. This ain't offense of NFL level. This ain't college offensive scheme at all. This is trash. This is ass. This is pure garbage. Where is the separation? Nobody is getting open. Everybody's lined up. The safeties are playing back. You're not getting guys open. Quarterback's not going through his reads because no one's going up to him and saying, bro, what are you doing? When have you seen the coach go up to Jalen Hurts and say, bro, what are you throwing the ball at? All you see is Jalen Hurts going to the sidelines and they sit with him with the stupid little pad and they talk it out. But I don't see the head coach go up to him and say, bro, where are you throwing the ball at? Where you throwing the ball at? You have to get on these players behind sometimes. You got to be tough on these players sometimes. And I'm not saying Jalen Hurts ain't tough. I'm not saying it, but I think Jalen Hurts is getting away with a lot of shit. He's not seen the field. And that goes back to, do you have a coach that gets on players like we thought? Is Nick able to be tough? One of the strengths that we hired him was the fact he was not afraid to yell at players for making mistakes. He was tough on his players. And I don't see that. I see a guy that doesn't practice detailed together toughness. Jalen Hurts missed Jahan. If he waited instead of hitting Devontae Smith where he missed him, Lily threw the ball away from him. John Doxson was wide open. But he didn't see the field because his offense is horrendous and his play calling has let him down. This quarterback is hearing footsteps, man, because your offense he can't trust. People need to be honest. The Eagles' success has barely anything to do with Nick. Nick is not even part of the success. And I'm tired of people crediting Nick. Nick is an average coach, bro. That's all Nick is. Nick is average. Nick is not a winner. Nick is average. And we just got to call what it is. We got to call a spade is spade. We got to be real. What is Nick Sirianni? What does he do? What does Nick do? What does he do? What does he do? And we got to be real. Richard Sherman called out Nick and Kevin Patullo. When analysts are sitting there not even taking shots at Jalen Hurts anymore, they're looking at the offensive play calling because they know the offensive play calling is a problem. Nick Foles has called the offense out. Everybody has seen that the offense is horrendous, and it's the offensive coordinator, the head coach. Yeah, the quarterback's a problem. Quarterback has not played well. Jalen Hurts has not played well. Not this game. Not last game. But at what point do we not look at the head coach and say, bro, you hired this man with no experience. It's your fault. It should be your fault. you should take most of the blame. I get it. The players are not executing, but it starts with the coaching. The coaches have to get these guys motivated. And they're not motivated. They're not motivated. When you got calls like this, get that shit off my screen, man. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing that you got a offense that is that bad. When I'm watching guys like Ben Johnson create an offense that looks so, I was so more entertained with the other side than I was with my team. I was jealous of the Bears offense. Because I'm like, damn, why can we not do this? Why don't we have a coach? I wish we had a coach like Ben Johnson. Did you see how everybody was getting involved? It wasn't just one player. They got this guy going. They got that guy going. They got this guy going. They were able to run the ball. Were able to do a lot. They weren't afraid to not score points. That defense was hungry on the side. The offense was hungry. The players were motivated. They wanted it more than we did because they had a coach that they believed in. Our players don't believe in our head coach. I don't care what reports say. The body language says it. Nick has lost the locker room. The players were dead. They didn't look like they were playing for real. They didn't want to play. And that's a problem. Because when your coach loses the locker room, the way I thought they lost the locker room yesterday, especially when I saw them, the way they weren't prepared, you got to go. How can I keep you in the building? You got to fire the coach. If the coach loses the locker room, there's no way in hell you keep the coach. You got to get someone who can get these guys to listen, to get the guys buy into a system. The system, you got to get them to buy into. And they're not buying into the system. They're not coming with heart. They're not coming in with heart. We saw a team that didn't want to play. It kind of reminded me of the 49ers in 2023. We got absolutely outplayed. Our defense didn't want to play. Our offense looked unmotivated. The only difference was it was in the cold. They didn't put 40 points on us. If this was in the dome, we would have got 40 dropped on us yesterday. It shouldn't have been that close. Thankfully, our defense made a couple stops. The offense looks bad. And it gets worse and worse each and every day. Nothing like 2023. It's worse than 2023. 2023 is a different ballgame. This offense is a whole new level. I can't even compare it to 2023. This offense is this is trash. I mean trash. I don't even know what to say. Because in 2023 you were able to move the football. You can't even move the football. You're not even scoring many points. Kevin Buttulo is incompetent. Nick Sirianni as a head coach is incompetent. And if they're incompetent and they lost the locker room, at what point do you not fire the coach then? You can't bring a guy back that lost the locker room. So if the team has lost the locker room, and we're going to find out. We're going to find out. Because guess what? I think this is do or die next week. I think the season's over would begin. But if you lose to the Chargers, I think you're done. I think you're done. I think you're over with. I think this team is done. They're not coming back. You got to win next week. If you don't win next week versus the Chargers, and you go out Monday Night Football and you stink, which I expect the Eagles to go out there and do that because that's all they've been doing. And you make no changes, and Jeffrey Lurie does not make one firing this week, then yeah, I think it's curtains. I think it's curtains. Pack it up, wrap it up, throw the 2025 Eagles in the dumpster and go get an offense corner in mind, and let's go for a 2026 season and see if we can get this team back together. Because you gotta go. If you lose to the Chargers and you don't win this division, you gotta fire Nick, in my opinion. I think Nick gotta pack it up. I think Nick is out the door anyway. I think he's gone. I think he's gone. I don't think he's gonna be back next year. That's just my belief. He said, "What up? I could care less about Nick's coaching record because at the end of the day, no, I don't give a shit about that. At the end of the day, a smart coach doesn't lose against the Cowboys or the Bears. No, I listen, man. I don't care about the record. It means nothing. Oh, Nick is 40-2 when he doesn't turn over the ball. Well, he's been turning over the ball, so that record goes out the door. I could care less about it. The record means nothing to me. When you blow a 21-point lead and your offense is sitting there saying they didn't hurt you about the front, I don't care if it's new. We cannot sit there and make excuses. Well, it's something new. They didn't see it. Man, come on, bro. Now you're going to sit there and say that, well, God never saw this because it's new, bro. At what point do we stop making excuses for Nick? We want to blame the quarterback. It's not the quarterback. The quarterback is just part of the problem. It's a whole shit of different problems that's just about in their whole offense. Because it's not just the quarterback. It's the coaching. It's the front office. It's Jeffrey Lurie and Howie Roseman for not signing Isaiah Rodgers back. For trading C.J. Gardner-Johnson for what a bum who didn't even make the practice squad, didn't even make the roster. And then you draft Makuba, and he hasn't done anything special. Not saying that he's bad. I just think that he's not ready. Nick won't fire KB. Then Nick needs to go. If Nick is not willing to fire his guy, then he got to go. You got to go. You got to go. And Jeffrey Lurie needs to cut ties with Nick. Because if you're not willing to make your wrongs, if you're not willing to correct your wrongs and understand as a man you messed up, because part of being a coach is understanding accountability. And if you don't have that, then I can't trust you to lead my men. You are a guy that's supposed to lead men to war. It's like a soldier. You need a leader to lead men to war. If you got a wimpy dude who can't lead men to war, you're going to get destroyed. You need the best mentor to lead anybody. Just like a teacher in school. You don't want a crappy teacher that can't teach someone. You need the best teacher to teach the students. That's how they learn. Do you hire an inexperienced aide? No. You hire a person based off what they already have. Experience. You don't hire a random guy to go fix your toilet. You don't hire a random guy to do plumbing. You hire experienced people. We hire a guy that has no experience in plumbing, and we say, oh, go fix the toilet. And we expect the toilet to be fine. And when it floods, we want to blame the person who hired. No, man, we hired the wrong person. Do you blame the car for not working? Do you blame no, you blame the mechanic. Because you're inexperienced. And if you can't do your job, why are you here? You don't hire a guy that's inexperienced. That's unprofessional. It's unprofessional. That's a fireable offense. You deserve to lose your job. Because you hired the guy knowing damn well you had this shit 2 years ago of hiring the exact same guy. And it didn't play out. Just your defense is a lot better. I don't know. Yesterday it wasn't good. Couldn't stop the run. But that is coaching malpractice. And if that's the case, you got to get rid of Nick. There's no way you could keep him. If Nick is not willing to fire KP, then they both need to go. Pack your bags, Nick, and get up out of here. I said this all along. I don't care how many Super Bowls you win. I don't care how many Super Bowls you win. Coaches get fired too. Doug got fired. Pete Carroll got canned. Oh no, he retired. Excuse me. The best coaches get fired. It's all about what you've done for me lately. It's a league by league every week. Every year. It's what you have done for me every year. I don't go back what you did 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. If you're not productive every week, and you're not showing growth as a head coach, and you go back to your old ways, and you're not growing as a play caller, you're not growing as a head coach, you're not trying to get better, you got to get the step in. Because then you become the problem. And you put it on the players to execute when you're not executing. You can't tell the players to execute when you're not executing as a coach. That makes no sense to me. That makes no sense in general. How are you telling the players, hey, do this? But you don't even watch game film. Because if you watch game film, you would have these guys more prepared than what you would have what they look like right now. It's just the truth. It's just the truth. Nick has to either give up play calling forever, or you got to get fired. Because he cannot have any access to calling a game plan or be involved in any game plan ever again. You got to strip him out of play calling duties for a long until he's no longer the head coach. Or you got to fire Nick. Me personally, I'd fire Nick. Because I think you could go get someone who could call plays. Bring a guy that has... All we need is a coach. It's not like we need to retool. We don't need to retool. What we need is an experienced offense coordinator / head coach. If you get a Ben Johnson head coach type of guy in here next year, your offense will be fine. Your offense will be fine. And I think you got the receivers already. You don't need to go get receivers. You got AJ and Devontae locked up. You got Saquon locked up. All you need is a right coach, and you need a right offensive coordinator in mind. You need a quarterback coach. And I don't think you got that. I think the quarterback coach has also been trashed too. Why aren't people not getting on Jalen Hurts' ass when he makes a bad throw? Because usually coaches go to quarterbacks and say, hey, bro, what are you doing? I see Sean Payton go to Bo Nix when he makes a mistake. I see guys, there are coaches in this NFL that go to quarterbacks when they make a boneheaded mistake, they talk to them. I don't see that with Nick. Nick doesn't even talk to Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts goes right to the bench. He sits down. And then you see Kevin Patullo go to him on the bench. Or it's the offensive or receiver coach or someone when it should be the head coach. The head coach should be going to Jalen Hurts and say, bro, what are you doing on that throw? What do you see? What do you see so I can fix it? So I can help you out? That's a coach. And all I see Nick is doing is this. Or screaming at the fans. When you should be going on to your quarterback and asking him what is wrong. And helping him. And try to fix the mistake. So you don't see it happen again. That's a coach. That's coaching malpractice. Why can't Nick not go to Jalen Hurts? You notice Jalen Hurts and Nick don't have the handshake anymore. Everybody will talk about AJ and Jalen Hurts have a bad connection. Do you not understand that we don't see Nick and Jalen Hurts with the handshake anymore? Remember when Jalen Hurts had the handshake? Do you remember that? You remember that special handshake they had in his rookie year? You don't see that anymore. You want to know why? Because deep down, Jalen Hurts don't respect Nick like he used to. And you could tell. Perfect example. I think Jalen Hurts lost trust in Nick when Jalen went up to Nick and said, "Are you sure?" "Yeah, we're fine." Even though Jalen wanted to continue to put belt to ass on the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, Nick was satisfied for what he did. When normal head coaches would be like, "Man, go out there and continue to score points until the clock is 0." He was satisfied. He didn't want to do anymore. Where Jalen Hurts wanted to continue to go out there because he wasn't satisfied. That is, I know, is a quarterback that wants to win. And you need a coach who can match the intensity. And you don't have that. You don't have that. You got a coach that is way opposite of Jalen Hurts. Doesn't fit the A.J. Brown and what he likes. Doesn't fit Devontae Smith. I look at Nick and I look at these players like Saquon, A.J., Devontae, and I say, they don't fit Nick. A Lincoln Riley fits Nick. I'm sorry, fits A.J. and Devontae and Jalen and Saquon. Kubiak from the Seahawks, the offense coordinator, that's going to be the head coach next year, fits those guys. Nick doesn't fit these guys. Nick fits someone like Daniel Jones. Nick fits someone like a Tanner McKee. He doesn't fit a Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is a guy that needs a system that is like a Lincoln Riley, a Ben Johnson. Nick is an offense meant for a statue quarterback. It's not meant for a guy like Jalen Hurts. And I think you got a head coach that is programmed, that has a style that doesn't fit the quarterback. And I think it messes up the player's mindset. And I think it frustrates AJ. I think it frustrates Jalen. I think it frustrates Devontae. And I think it frustrates the hell out of Barkley. Because they know that they're killers. Or killers, excuse me. They know that they could put more scoring points on the board. But the coach's like, no, we're just going to play to be conservative. We're not going to fight. We're going to lay back. We're going to do our thing. And we're going to go squeak out a W. Jalen wants to put belt to ass on these teams. And they're cuffing them. They're cuffing them. They're cuffing them. And I don't think that's fair. I don't think it's fair to Jalen. I don't think it's fair to the whole offense. AJ's been saying this for weeks, man. This offense is not going to win like this. People were acting like he's being negative. No, he was telling the truth. And we're seeing it. I think that you need to bring a coach that fits the players, man. And the players do not fit the coaches right now. I think there's a divide in the locker room. 975 said when Tim McManus said, and Tim McManus said it 2 weeks ago, that he went into the locker room, he saw the defense had a different vibe than the offense. Defense was smiling. Everybody was giggling. And when you went to the offense on the other side of the room, they weren't smiling. They weren't having fun. And we got to go back to having fun. And I think the coaches have drained the players. And I don't know if Jeff Lloyd sees that like we're seeing it. Nick Caserta, the play calling, is killing this team. He is. I don't think he fits Jalen Hurts' system. I think Jalen Hurts would benefit of a guy like Lincoln Riley. What I love about Lincoln Riley is when you listen to him, he is a detailed guy that puts quarterbacks in good situations. You wonder why Ben Johnson's successful with Caleb Williams? You want to know why Caleb Williams is playing good football? And I said this last year, because he has a coach. Ben Johnson, the reason why Jared Goff was successful under him is because he puts players in good positions to succeed. I'm going to take the best trait and I'm going to use that to your strength. If A.J. Brown is good at something and Ben Johnson's the coach, I'm going to get the best out of A.J. Brown I'm going to get the best out of Devontae. I'm going to do what works with Jalen Hurts, and I'm going to use that to his strength, not his weakness. We don't do that. We say, here's the system, go play. Whether it works or not, that's the system, go play. And we expect them to find a way to do it. And we expect them to win that way. And it doesn't work that way. You got to have a system that fits the quarterback. And we don't have a system that fits the quarterback. We got a system that's trash. That is like, this is the system, even though it don't fit the quarterback, we're going to try it anyway. It makes no sense. It's blows my mind how insane that is. Let's force a system on a quarterback, expect him to play like an MVP, and then try to bail us out because we know our system is trash and we're not willing to make the adjustment. One of the best things about a head coach that Nick doesn't have is he makes those coaches make the adjustments. For example, Doug Peterson in 2018. Yeah, I'm going back to that. Why I think Doug Peterson is a better coach. Doug Peterson is a better coach than Nick. Doug Peterson was ours as a coach. What I liked about Doug was, even though he was stubborn sometimes, he would make the adjustments. He was not afraid to try to go to something that was different. The RPOs with Nick. Nick Foles couldn't fit a Carson Wentz system. Just like Carson couldn't fit a Nick Foles system. So what did they do? They tried a different style. They switched it up. When Nick was struggling versus the Raiders and the Cowboys, what did they do? They took the Chip Kelly offense. Frank Reich did that, along with Doug, and he said, let's try what worked for him. Why can't our coach not go to 2022 and say, maybe we should go back to this? Maybe we should look at the 2024 season, sprinkle a little 2022, and try that. The RPOs. No, we don't want to do that. We want to continue to try the exact same system. It boggles my mind how incompetent we are as a football team when we got stubborn coaches that don't want to change their philosophy. And it's the philosophy that is destroying this offense. I've said this before. The only reason why we won last year is because we had offensive mind and Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore was not afraid to make adjustments. He was not stubborn. Nick and KP are stubborn. It's our way or it's the highway. And we're not afraid to lose our job if it means we got to be right. Rather than fit the quarterback and what they're good at, you want to force a system that don't work for him. Then we want to blame the quarterback. Let's bench Jalen Hurts. He's not good. He stinks. Even though he showed you give him a chance, he will win for you. He's nothing but a winner. But he stinks. He stinks. Oh, it's not the coach. It's Jalen Hurts. It's A.J. Brown. Let's trade A.J. Brown. Let's trade Devontae Smith. Saquon's washed. And it's nonsense because it's not the players. This is a front office and coaching problem. It starts with Jeffrey. It starts with Howie. And it starts with Nick and KP. Kevin Batullo and Nick Sirianni have officially broken this offense of players' confidence. And you're seeing it. And I think it's a do or die. If you lose to the Chargers, I think you're done. I think you're done. And I think this team knows they're done. The defense quit. When have you seen Vic Fangio's defense quit? When have you seen that? Ever. Never ever I've never seen Vic Fangio's defense quit like that. The defense was carrying us, but they giving up. And when your players are giving up, you got to fire coaches, man. Coaches got to get the boot. And I think it's going to depend what we do next week. If we don't look like the team that's right, because listen, it's going to tell us a lot. This week told us a lot, but next week's going to really tell us a lot. Because if you don't come out prepared on Monday Night Football and you look like if you get blown out by the Chargers or you get embarrassed in LA, you got to fire the coach. You got to fire the coach. You got to fire the offensive coordinator. And you got to go get an offensive mind. You got to go get someone to help Jalen Hurts or try to fix Jalen Hurts. I'm willing to do everything I can to help my football team. And if it means guys got to get the boot for that to happen, hey, I'm for it. If I have to sacrifice this season for another Super Bowl in the next generation down the road, and I have an offense coordinator, mind, head coach that can call plays, I'm willing to do it. If it means keeping my guys happy, if it means A.J. Brown staying, if it means Devontae staying, if it means Jalen Hurts is that guy again that I know he can be, because I've seen him in 2022. I've seen him in 2025. I'm sorry, 2024. It's not the player. It's not the players in general. It's the coaching. The coaching stinks. The players are horrible too. But it's not solely on the players. We got a head coach and offensive coordinator problem. You can't solve it by going to get another offensive coordinator. No, if we lose the locker room, like I think they did, you got to fire the head coach. I want an offensive mind if we fire the head coach. I don't want Andy Reid tree. Stay away from the Andy Reid tree. If that's the case, because there's no point. Because if you fire the head coach, man, you got to change something up, man. Now, I don't know if Jeff Lowe is willing to do. What's up, NJ31? What's up, dude? How you doing? Thank you for coming on. Nick is very good. He is conservative, and that's a problem. That hurts our offense. I think it messes with Jalen Hurts' head. I think Jalen Hurts is in his own head. And I think these players are starting to get upset with Nick because he's not listening to them. He's not listening to them. How many times we heard A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith? Hey, give me the ball. Let me go make a play. We're not giving these guys a chance. The quarterback. All I want to do was get it. Let's create some plays, man. Let's go and launch the ball. We got receivers to do it. But the problem is we can't do it because we got an experienced offensive coordinator, doofus, who can't call plays. Kevin Stenchulo and Stenciani are terrible. It's Mo and Curley running the offense. How do you think that's going to motivate any player? You had the two stooges officially. Mo and Curley. Mo and Curley are running this offense into the ground. It's the two stooges, not the three stooges, the two stooges. Because the only other one I could think of being Larry, Mo, Larry, and Curly would be Cindy Brown. So that probably would be Larry. But the two stooges would probably be Mo, would be Nick Sirianni and Kevin Patullo. It's the two stooges. Cindy Brown is god awful, man. He got to get. I don't want that next year. We'll talk about him later. It's another time. But this offense, it got to be talked about, man. And I'm not done, bro. Like I said, I think this offense is a problem. Defense can't bail this team. No, they can't. They can't. And it affected our team because injuries happen when you had your defense out. But Kuba got hurt because we were desperate. And we got players. Our guys were getting injured. Guys were getting banged up. Maybe that's why players were retiring from us. Maybe that's why Jack Zaynab retired. Because we're seeing something we're not. They're seeing something that we're not. Maybe Hard Knocks will expose a little bit of that. I want to see what Hard Knocks has. I want to see what's inside the building. Do they believe? I want to see what the coaches believe. I want to see what the players believe. I want to see if there's a real connection in that building like everybody thinks. We're going to find out. And I can't wait to see it. I want to see if there's a divided connection in the locker room. Are players listening to coaches? Are the players just hearing the coaches and just turning their head? Because we're going to find out. We're definitely going to find out. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see that. Cindy Brown is terrible. He's awful. Because if the players, I see them just look at them with a side eye, then I know these players don't have interest in what they're saying, man. And you got to get the coach out of here. But I think next week is going to determine what your season is, man. If you go outside again like you did versus the Bears, I think the season's over regardless. But next week is officially over. If you don't win this game, I don't see you coming back. I don't see it coming back. It's getting bad, man. It is. And your offense has not been good. And again, that's coaching. It's coaching malpractice. It's not the players, because it falls back on the coaching. How are these guys prepared? Are they working hard? Are they studying film? Are they watching film? Are they going out there and trying to create an offense to help their players? None of that. They're doing none of that. Every week we see the exact same offense. Why wasn't Tank Bisbee not involved? One carry? I didn't even have a carry, I don't believe. How do you not have your best running back on the field? How do you not say, you know what? We need you because you could create a spark. Nope, just go sit on the bench. Go sit on the bench, Tank Bisbee. We don't need you. What? Even though he's been an absolute spark plug for your offense. Oh, just go sit on the bench. We don't even need you. It makes no sense to me. It's disgraceful. It's pitiful. It makes you look bad as a coaching staff. When your best running back, number 2 running back, with who's supposed to be, I mean, all we do is run with Saquon. Why not mix it up? Why not have two number 2 backs in the backfield? Why not have Tank Bisbee get some and Saquon Barkley? Why do we always have Saquon Barkley in the back? Every time we know what's coming. Defense are not fooled. Defense are not fooled. They know what's coming. They know that you're predictable. And you got no answers. You got no answers to overcome it. It's the same crap. And I don't know how Jeff Lurie can sit in the press box and say, you know what? I'm okay with this. If you're Jeff Lurie, are you okay with being mediocre? Are you okay with sitting there watching the offense? How do you not have someone fired right now? If I was Jeff Lurie, both heads would be falling off the cliff today. Nick Sirianni would be on the hot seat, and Kevin Batula would be out the door by now. Kevin Batula would have been fired after the Cowboys game. I would have got him up out of here. How is that coach not fired yet? How is Kevin employed yet? How is the offensive coordinator still employed right now? He should have been fired. Did you not hear Eagle fans yesterday screaming Kevin Batula was fired? Kevin Batula? Did you not hear that? Do you want me to play that? Eagle fans were chanting fire Kevin Batula. Hold on, let me find that real quick. Let me see if I can find that. Because I swore that Kevin Batula was getting a chance by the Eagle fans that he should be fired. Give me a second. Give me a second. There we go. Let me find it. I'll find out where the fans were. I want to show this one real quick. This really pissed me off right here. And I talked about a little bit of it. This just shows you coaching malpractice. Let me pull it up real quick. Let it load a little bit. Give me a second. This really made me mad. This got me ticked off. I ain't gonna lie to you. Come on. Jesus Christ. Give me a second. Here we go. Y'all see that? me make it bigger for y'all. Do y'all see that? Because I'm going to read it to y'all. So, should be no if and buts. So, Dallas Goedert was asked yesterday, Eagles offensive game plan was exploit. The Bears defense allowed near NFL high of 6.5 catches a game to tight ends. It was down 3 starting linebackers. I didn't know that about the Bears versus tight ends. There was opportunities, could have had a couple more. Never too worried about that. We want to find out ways to win. How do you not know how to... Bro, did these players not watch film? That is coaching malpractice. How did they not know, hey, if the Bears had 3 linebackers down and they give up 6.5 carries a game to tight ends, why not get Dallas Goedert more involved? How is that not a fireable offense? We didn't come prepared. Last week it was, we didn't know about the front 5, which I get it because it was a new thing. But this is unexcusable. That is coaching. The Bears gave up 6.5 catches a game to tight ends. And Dallas Goedert wasn't even aware of that. The coaching wasn't aware. That is coaching. Because Dallas Goedert shouldn't be aware of that. It should be Kevin Patullo and Nick should have been aware of that. Why wasn't Dallas Goedert now more involved in this game? If I was a coach right there and I saw that, I'd be like, maybe I should get Dallas Goedert more touches. Maybe I should find a way to get my best tight end, my top 5 tight end, involved. It makes no sense to me. That is 100% coaching malpractice. How is that not fireable offense? If I was Jeffrey Lurie, I'd be mad as hell. I'd be steaming. I'd be red as a freaking tomato. You telling me that you're a coach and you didn't even know about this? Do you not watch film? Because that should be up on film. If these guys are giving up yards on tight end, that tells me they're not even watching film as a coach. Because as a coach, how do you not know this? Why are reporters going up to play saying, hey, by the way, did you know this? No, I didn't know this. No, I didn't know about that. Thanks for telling me. We're going to use that for that. Come on. What? The reporter said, hey, by the way, Dallas Goedert, did you know the Bears gave up 6.5 per carry versus tight ends? No, I didn't know that. No, shit. I didn't know that. You really? Shit. Yeah, no one told me. No one told me. Nope, didn't know that. Thanks for telling me, Jeff McClain. This coach, bro. It just shows you that the coaching is not prepared. Why isn't Nick not watching film? Who game plans, bro? Do they not game plan? That tells me they don't even bother game plan. No wonder why your offense look one way every week. No wonder why the players have not understand this because there's no system. There's no system. How's there a system and you're not game planning for the team? All you're doing is trotting out there every week with no game plan. Because that just tells me that there is no game plan. Nobody's watching the film. Nobody's game planning for these teams. Nobody's designing route running. Nobody's designing route running combination or a system to help their offense beat this defense that they're prepared for. Nobody's doing nothing. And it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to know your head coach and your offensive coordinator doesn't even know the offensive game plan when the defense that you're playing against were losing 3 linebackers in that game and they were giving the most points to tight ends. And to the end of the game, Dallas Goedert just found out. Come on, man. That's a joke, bro. That is an absolute joke. That is coaching malpractice. Yeah, finding ways to win low. They're doing the opposite. Yeah, it's not even that. It's like, how do you not have film? Isn't an OC job supposed to be watching film and game planning for this offense? I'm sorry, for this defense that are playing against or going against? What is the job as offense coordinator? It's to make sure your offense of scheme is prepared. You also have to scheme up your offense. And we do none of that. That is coaching malpractice 101. That is coaching. That's not the players. The player's job is to go catch a football and watch a little bit of film. The offense coordinator and the head coach is supposed to be watching film. That is coaching. You're telling me you didn't even know about this? This wasn't a stat that just came out of nowhere. They've been known this. They didn't bother doing their research and preparing. That is unprepared. That is not knowing what you are as a football team. That means you weren't even ready to play from the begin with. And that's a problem. When teams are prepared for you, they got a game plan. Attack Jalen Hurts, make him have to read a defense, throw different things at him, stop Saquon Barkley, take away A.J. Brown, because you know this offense coordinator will not figure anything out to get these guys open. What's their game plan? What do we have that say, you know what? We're going to go into this game with a mindset of how to attack this opposing defense. Why don't we have an offense that is ready to attack? What do we do? What did Nick do in his bye week? I want to know what Nick did in his bye week. Did he just invite Kevin Patullo and have a slice of pizza and hot wings? And sat back on the couch and did nothing? It's embarrassing, bro. It's embarrassing that you don't have this offense prepared. That is coaching malpractice, ladies and gentlemen. That is bad coaching. That is something that you should not have as an offensive coordinator / head coach. That means you're not even prepared. And that's sad. That's fireable offense right there. That's embarrassing to not have an offense that looks ready. That means coaching is not doing their job. That's what it tells me. That players and coaches are not doing their job. More so coaches. Because if you know this defense that you're playing against are NFL high or 8.5 game, listen again. The Eagles' efficient game plan was to exploit the Bears' defense. They allowed near NFL high of 6.56 catches a game to tight ends and was down 3 starting linebackers. And Dallas Scott said, I didn't know about that. I didn't know about the Bears versus tight ends. There was opportunities that we could have had a couple more. Like, what? That's a joke. That is an absolute joke. You should be fired for that. Nick should be fired for that. That right there should be fired. You should be fired, bro. You should be fired for that. There's no way that you should have a job after that. That is bad. That means you didn't have these guys ready to go. When your tight end is sitting there saying, no, I didn't know about that one. Huh? You didn't know about what? That these guys weren't prepared? That these guys, I'm sorry, not these guys weren't prepared. Did these guys give up 6.5 per carry to a tight end? That means these guys are not watching film. These guys are not preparing that they should be. And that is coaching. When coaching is not doing a job, players don't do their job. Because it starts with the top. Only players can do so much. It starts with the top. And I think Jeffrey Lurie and Howard Rose got to step in, man. That pissed me off, bro. Yeah, finding ways my ass. Yeah, they don't find ways to win. They are lazy. That's lazy coaching right there. That's lazy malpractice. That's all it is. And it's embarrassing and it's disgraceful that you have this shit. What a joke, bro. I mean, what can I say? This team's a joke, dude. And I don't think it's going to get better. Because that tells me right there that coaching is horrendous. Lack of preparation, and leadership from the coach. Shame on Nick and KP. Shame on them. That means you're not prepared. That means there's no preparation for a team that you're playing. That right there should get you fired. That should get you fired. That should get you at least on the hot seat. Because if I'm Jeff Lloyd and I hear this, I'll go to coach and say, what do you mean about that? That you didn't prepare? That means you weren't prepared. You had no preparation for the game that you were playing. That means you had no preparation for a defense that you were supposed to prepare for. That is coaching malpractice. That should get you fired. That should get Nick fired. That means that you weren't prepared, dude. And that's sad. That's sad. I'm not even going to feel like I'm watching this team, not going to ruin my Christmas with this team. I've been with this team since 2012. I've never seen NFL offense play since I've been a fan of this. I haven't seen offense play since I've been a fan of this team. I've been a fan since 04, bro. This is probably one of the worst I think it's worse than 2015. This is probably the worst because I think the talent around us makes us better. But if we don't have talent, I think this team is a always 17 football team. I think the talent that you have is helping these coaches keep their job for some reason. But I agree with you. Dude, this team is hard to watch. Now, I'm going to continue supporting this team because that's what I do. I'm an Eagles fan. You see my true colors. I even got the Super Bowl shirt, the 2017 Super Bowl shirt when we were underdogs. But this team is a joke. And it starts with the coaching. It's Nick and KP that I think needs to go. I think they need to go. I think that we have a divide in the offense. Players are not buying into the system. And that's something I've been saying, man. When they brought Nick back in 2023, I said, was that a good idea? Was that a good idea? Was that a good idea to bring a guy like that back? Because you won a Super Bowl last year. And I think it's because you had an offense corner that guys believed in. It wasn't so about Nick. Nick was just a guy who was motivating these guys. And the guys are like, yeah, okay. Detailed together, whatever the fuck they're saying is. But I think guys were more happy the fact that they had an offense corner in mind. You went right back to your old ways. And again, when you have this when you have this, and when guys are literally saying this to the reporter that they didn't know about the Bears versus tight ends, that is lack of preparation. That means you weren't prepared. That is coaching. That is not the players, because the players are part of it, and players are part of the blame too. Everybody gets a slice of the pie. Okay? But the coaching is 100% to blame, because at what point is this not a fireable offense? If you know the defense weakness is the tight ends, why not use it against them? Why not create routes for Dallas Goedert to get open? Why not design routes for the Dallas Goedert to get open? If you know they're giving up a 6.5 carries a game. That tells me these coaches don't have these players' interests. That means that players don't have their interests either. Because I think there's a divide in the locker room. When guys are not even knowing about this shit, that means the coach is not doing their job. And I'm interested to see what Hard Knocks has, because I can't wait to see what Hard Knocks has, man. I can't wait to see what we see in building, man. I want to see this dysfunctional offense. I want to see what they look like. I can't wait to rip a new one. It's going to be the same shit next week. No preparation. We're going to see the BS press conference. Kevin Batulla is going to say, yeah, hey, we didn't have penalties, and we didn't have this, and we didn't. Hey, bro, I'm not even going to react to it. I'm not going to react to his press conference. All I'm going to do is read the report. Nick's going to say the same BS. We got to move forward tough. We got to do this better. But you're not prepared. How are you going to blame the players when you're not prepared as a coach? That's disgraceful. That's distasteful. You're blaming the players. You're blaming penalties when you don't even prepare as your coach. You're the head coach. And you're the offensive coordinator. You don't even have an offensive game plan? Oh, yeah, you got to get up out of here, man. You got to pack your bags. There's no in hell you should be employed, bro. I'm sorry. I am 16. This team is going to add years to my life. Oh, bro, trust me, I'm 25 years old. I'm 26. It already has. Imagine what the 40-year-olds and 50-year-olds have. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's a joke that you don't have these guys prepared and prepared to play. That's coaching. That's coaching malpractice. And when I saw that, I said, yep, that's why we didn't look prepared. What did they do all day? What did they do all day? Do they not talk to these guys? Did they not sit back and watch film? That's why I want to see Hard Knocks, man. I think there's dysfunction in the locker room. I think that we're seeing dysfunction in the locker room, man. We got 2 likes, man. We got 6 views. Hit that like button, subscribe, man. 2 likes, man. 2 likes, and I'm giving you the information. I'm giving you the sauce. I'm giving you the info that you need. Now, you might not want to hear, but you need. I'm breaking down the formula to why our team has been disaster. 2 likes? Let's hit that like button. Hit that like button. Subscribe. Share the content. 2 likes is pitiful. You got 6 people watching. 6 people watching. You can hit the like button. Put down the phone. Put down the laptop. And hit that like button. It's free. Free. Share with a friend. Like and subscribe. No one's putting the gun in your head and saying you got to do it or I'm going to shoot your brains out. But I would like you to do it. It helps the algorithm. Hit that like button, man. Appreciate y'all for coming on. 7 people watching. 7 likes got to be on this channel, man. We got 2 likes, man. What are we doing? Come in and socialize. Come and chat. It's your boy EC1 2 times with another live stream. We're talking about this offense. We're talking about this dysfunctional offense. Does Nick Sirianni need to be fired? Can you trust him to get this team back together? Me personally, no, I don't think so. But I want to hear your thoughts. Do you believe in KP? Do you believe in Nick? Do you think Nick can fix it? I don't think he can fix it. I personally would fire Nick after this year. We collapsed the way we did again, and we don't win a division. We don't even win a division. Or we don't get a playoff game. I think you got to fire the coach, bro. Because I think the coach got to go. And when you're seeing this shit, it's starting to give me flashbacks. Because, again, the offense does not look prepared. We are seeing another sloppy offense being put out every week, every single fucking time. Part of my language. I'm just angry. I'm angry at where we're playing right now. We're playing like some ass, some cheeks, some straight out buns. And I think you got to hold the coach accountable, man. You cannot have a dysfunctional coach lead you to battle. It doesn't work like that. You're going to collapse. You're going to fall apart. And we got a dysfunctional coaching staff that's trying to lead us to battle. And it's collapsing in front of our faces. And we're watching it. We're watching another 2.0 collapse in front of us. We're 8-3. And this team's not playing like an 8-3. The team that we just played looked like more of an 8-3 football team than we did. They look like a more of an 8-2. I'm sorry, 8-2. Now they're 9-2. Thanks to us. We were 8-2. I'm sorry, 8-3. Excuse me. No, we were 8-3. So they were 8-3. I think, what was the Bears record again? Hold on. Let me not make shit up. Let me go look it up before the win. Yeah, so they're 9-3. They were 8-3 just like us. I mean, we just saw a better 8-3 football team beat us. Who looked like more of an 8-3 team? We did or the Bears? I think the Bears look like more of an 8-3. That's not an 8-3 football team is supposed to look like. We shouldn't be 8-3. But we shot ourselves in the foot. Coaching has been horrible. Quarterback has not executed at a high level. He's regressed. And it has nothing to do with him personally. I think it's the coaching. I want a guy like Lincoln Riley in Philadelphia. I want a guy like a offensive guy, a Lynn Kiflin, or a guy like I've said it a lot. I would bring a guy like Clint Kubiak, a guy that could come in there, who's from Seattle. That has all right. If you don't want to bring a college coach, I get it, right? You don't want to go the Chip Kelly route, but bring a guy who has an offensive mind. Stop bringing these guys that don't have offensive play calling experience. We need to stop doing that because all you're doing is setting yourself back up for for a disaster. Because once you lose the offense coordinator, it's back to, oh, nobody can call plays again. And I'm just tired of that. You know, I like it. I like his personality, but I don't like the fact that he's trying to keep his buddy here. When you know it's not working. It's not working. Your offensive coordinator that you hired is a dunce. It's a dunce. And he's not a good coordinator at all. He can't scheme guys open. He looks like he's not even prepared. Because how, again, are you an offensive coordinator and a head coach, and you don't even understand that the 6.5% the Bears give up for tight ends, and you don't think that not get Dallas got involved? That's coaching, man. That means you're not prepared as an offensive coordinator or a head coach. The Bears were 8-3. Yeah, they look like a better 8-3 than we did. Eagles might be 8-4. Yeah. I think they're going to lose to the Chargers, man. I don't think we're beating the Chargers. Justin Herbert's going to carry up this defense. Because why? They got a better coach. We're about to see another great offensive mind. Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh about to have us looking bad. You know, but hey, you know, we're going to get embarrassed again. And you know what? Hey, you know, I don't know, man. I don't know if I want to watch that, but I'm probably going to watch it because I am an Eagle fan. I'm going to stream every Eagles game because that's what I do. I can never not watch an Eagles game. It's just in my blood. But it's just sad. It's sad that this offense is unprepared. This is the second time. I mean, that's just embarrassing. That is just embarrassing. That is so embarrassing. You just got to fire the coach at this. I mean, you know, I'm not all about firing the coaches, but look at this. Again, nobody's getting open, man. I mean, yeah, okay, yeah. I don't like the play call. I'm gonna say it is what it is. This is embarrassing, bro. This is embarrassing, and it just shows the offense isn't great. It just shows it. There's something loose between our offensive players. They're not trusting these coaches. They're not trusting these coaches. They're not trusting these coaches. These coaches are not trusting the players because they're not putting good play. I mean, the coach is not even trustable. How can you trust an offense that came a game plan right? How do you put stock in that? How do you put stock in that? Look at the play call. I want y'all to watch this, man. This is our offense. This is what they run. This is their running game. This is their running game. Let me get that down so I don't get copyright. I don't want to get copyright for it. Probably will get copyright anyway. But I don't want to get copyright for sound. YouTube is very antsy about it. Let me turn it down. There we go. But look at this, man. This is the difference between an offensive mind coordinator / head coach that can call plays. Do you see how they call a game plan between our offense and their offense? Do you see the spacing? Do you see the blocking? Do you see the designs? Look at the motion. Look at everybody's doing their part. Do you see what I'm seeing? I see design route running. I'm seeing motion. That is a coach of an offensive mind that we need. We don't got that. We need to hope our offense coordinator can call a game plan, or we're screwed. We should have a guy like that in our building. We don't. You see why the Bears are good. He changed a quarterback that looked like a bust to a starter in 1 year. Why? Because he changed the culture in Chicago. And that's what the Eagles don't have. They don't got a culture changer as a head coach. The players buy into Ben's system in Chicago. Why? Because he brings leadership and culture to this team. He changes locker room. He plays the offense strengths, not the weakness. He calls game plans. He makes sure to prepare. He doesn't give you what you want to hear. He gives you the truth. He's not afraid to call you out. We need a guy like that, man. And we need a guy that can call plays, man. I want a guy like Lincoln Riley. I want a guy like Kubiak. I want a guy that knows an offense that is, he can actually call plays. It's going to be his offense, and he's actually calling plays, man. Because I'm tired of hiring offense coordinators every year. It doesn't do any good. You need an experienced offensive coordinator mind / head coach. You need a head coach that fits our quarterback. Ben Johnson fits Jalen Hurts what he likes. If you had him as your head coach, you would be winning Super Bowls. The Bears are not talented like the Eagles' offense. And look how they're playing. Imagine they had AJ and Devontae. Imagine they had a Saquon Barkley. Look at the designs. And look at our team. Look at their team. Look at it's beautiful. I love watching this shit. It's entertaining. This offense ain't entertaining, bro. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. It's disgraceful. It's boring. It's pitiful. There's no design routes. There's no motion. There's none of that. It's bundle shit up, jumble stuff, and hope something works. Ben Johnson creates an offense that works for the quarterback. And we don't have that. We got a coach that is a Brett Brown. Shout out to my guy Daggy. He said yesterday on Diamond Sports Talk, DSP, with Kweze. They had a great stream. Shout out to them. But I was tuning them in, and I agree. I think that Nick is just a overrated coach. I think his record is good because he plays around him. I don't think he's a great coach like a lot of people think. I think he's replaceable. I think if Nick goes somewhere else, I don't think he succeeds like a lot of people think. I don't. I think he's a good motivator, but I don't think he's a guy that we need. We need a guy like this. I get jealous watching this type of stuff. Absolutely, they do better than the offense. And that fits Jalen Hurts' system. Right there is what Jalen Hurts needs. This is what Jalen Hurts has been wanting. This is what we should have gave him since the day we drafted him in Philadelphia. Why did we give him a shitty offense? I just can imagine what AJ and Devontae would do. And it pisses me off. Well, let's trade AJ to New England. Do you understand how good he would be in New England? You understand we would give him a service that would actually benefit him? Y'all don't think, do you? Because it's not the players, it's the coaching. And I think Howie Jeff Lowe needs us to look in the mirror. Maybe you need to go with this type of route. Go hire a guy that comes from a Kubiak system, a Gary Kubiak system, a guy from a Kyle Shanahan system, a McVay. Bring a guy that has an offensive mind. Stop hiring coaches from Andy Reid tree. When the head coach came and called plays unless it's an offensive coordinator helping. Why do you think the Chiefs are bad right now? Because Andy Reid's calling plays. He's officially called plays. And it's killing this Chiefs offense. They can't move the ball. Andy Reid had an offensive coordinator in Eric Bieniemy. And now he has another kid. They're in the KP situation too. And look how Mahomes is. Is anybody saying get rid of Patrick Mahomes? Is anybody saying get rid of this guy? No. You need an offensive coordinator in mind in this league. You cannot rely on just puppets. And we got a puppet head coach because he doesn't hold his coordinator accountable. So I don't think he's a coach. Coaches hold guys accountable. They're not afraid to take play calling away from him. We don't have the offensive mind. Look at Ben. I love watching Ben Johnson's offense, man. It's creative. It's fun to watch. It's entertaining. I like the designs. The Bears fight with the coach, man. They did. Whether they win Super, the point is they're winning. They're winning. They're winning. It's what Nick Foles said, man.
In the huddle, if there's games going on that, like talk to your guys. What do you want to see? Listen,
Nick
receivers are
Foles
always
said.
going to say a play that you have to take with a grain of salt because they want the ball. But sometimes there's going to be a gym in there like, it's actually a good play call. I mean, even Jason Peters one year, but man, what about that wide throwback? And it's JP. I'm like, coach, I went to Doug. I'm like, hey, JP wants wide throwback. You don't have to do it, but Jason wants it. Yeah. Let me know if you want it. I just want, he's watching me right now. Walk over to you to ask for wide throwback. It's up to you. There's times that players know what will work. So this is now turned into, with where their offense is right now, a figure this out by committee, players, coaches, everyone sitting down. Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Saquon Barkley, Cam Jurgens, Lane Johnson, Jeff Stoutland, Kevin Patullo, Nick Sirianni, everyone get in a dang room, an offensive room, and say, who are we? What do we want to be? And figure this thing out. Because if we keep going out there day in and day out and doing what you're doing, you're going to get beat. Your defense is holding you together. Your offense is playing. It's not good, but the personnel and the players, and I know the guys in that building, I know the culture, they have it all there to do amazing things. And thank goodness Jalen Hurts is protecting the ball because they're in a good position right now. But let's all humble ourselves. Let's leave our ego at the door and let's go do this by committee and figure. If they do that, they will literally start blowing the brakes off the points and everything. But it's going to be a by committee, a team coming together and creating a moment for them.
You see what I mean? I mean, it's not just us saying this. It's not just us saying this. Nick Foles said this. Because you don't have guys that are good, man. You don't got good coaching. You don't. You have bad designs. The stubbornness from Nick Sirianni would piss me off. This would be mad. I want you to listen to our fans, man. Maybe Jeffrey Lurie will see this.
Fire Patullo.
Kevin Patullo. My guy needs to get a new job. He can serve me McDonald's nuggets. I'll take an 8-piece.
Kevin Patullo needs to be taken and banished to Azkaban.
Kevin Patullo has to go.
We're not changing the play caller.
We all know the answer.
What's the answer?
Fire the fucking offensive coordinator.
The Eagles fucking suck. Get rid of Patullo. Fire Patullo.
Kevin Patullo. My guy needs to get a new job. He can serve me McDonald's nuggets. I'll take an 8-piece.
Kevin Patullo needs to be taken and banished to Azkaban.
Kevin Patullo has to go.
We're not changing the play caller.
We all know the answer.
What's the answer?
Fire fucking offensive coordinator.
The Eagles.
See, I mean, imagine not listening to the fans. Why not listen to the fans? The fans know more than you do. I swear a fan can draw up a better game plan than what Kevin Patullo can draw up. I swear to God he can. I can't. Okay? I literally went in my head this morning. And I said, I would have did this and I would have scored a touchdown. I would have designed a route to get guys open. Maybe do a little motion, switch read. It's not hard. It really isn't. It's really not that hard. But it's Nick Sirianni being stubborn, it pisses me off because it's bro, what are you trying to prove? Either Nick is not allowed to make the change unless Jeff Lurie and Howard Roseman signs off of one, or Nick Sirianni is trying to sink his own ship, which his sink is already shipping, but he's trying to be stubborn, and he's trying to get fired. Because if you have the power to take away your offense coordinator ability to call plays, and you know your offense is struggling, why wouldn't you, as a head coach who's been there for years, know what it was in 2023. And it's not the 2023, it's worse. Okay, this is a new version of what we have. In 2023, you were able to move the ball a little bit. This is worse than 2023. It's not even the same as 2023. Okay, there's no coaching at all. But if you're a head coach, why wouldn't you say, you know what, maybe this guy ain't working. Let's try something different. You have to do something. And this coach is like, no, I'm not going to take play calling away. He's not losing play calling. That to me tells me either two things. You're not a head coach, you're a puppet, or you're just a dumbass or an absolute stubborn, egotistical asshole with no morals, no respect for your fans, and don't care or give a damn. That should be fired, unemployed. Because if you refuse to get rid of your play call that's been trash and doo-doo, and you're willing to sacrifice it, you should be fired also. I'm sorry. You should be fired also. You should not be able to have a game plan or be involved as a coach. You should be just fired, dude. That should be a fireable offense. That you're willing to be stubborn. Now, if it comes out that Jeffrey Lurie and Howard Roseman has control, then that's different. But if it comes out that Nick is the guy, because it looks like Nick is the guy, Nick can definitely take away the play call. He has that authority. But he's not willing to do that. And that is scary. When your coach is that stubborn and he's not willing to make the adjustments to better his team, to better his coach staff, to know that, hey, something is not working. We tried. It doesn't work. Let's give another person a shot. And I get it. Well, it'll be the Knicks offense. Yeah, but it's not the point. Kevin Butullo is a Nick Sirianni 2.0. They think alike. They are alike. They are the same person. They behave the same way. Look how they are on the sidelines doing the arm celebration. They are the same person. They're the same style. So even a little change in the offense coordinator, like a Scott Lanahan, would be better than what the hell you have. And you're not willing to make adjustments, you should be fired, bro. Because that means you're being stubborn. That means you don't want to do your job as a coach. You know it's not working. Why not see the problem and fix it, man? I don't get that. We needed him yesterday. Safety his ass. Who, Malcolm Jenkins? Malcolm Jenkins was coming out of retirement. What we need is an all. Listen, bro. Sidney Brown is what he is, man. Sidney Brown's never going to be a Pro Bowler. You know, so we got to hope that he can. I don't know, man. It's just embarrassing, man. It is. And then Nick's saying he's not going to call plays. He's going to refuse to call plays. The fans know it's an issue. They're walking out of stadiums. And you're like, no, I'm not going to change. And Jeffrey Lurie needs to step in, I think. Because if your coach is being that stubborn, you got to force him to take away play call. You got to force. I think you got to force Nick to lose play call. I don't think Nick is capable of understanding what he's doing wrong. And that's an issue. That's it. I think you just got to fire the coach. I think you got to get rid of the coach, man. The coach is a problem. The goal is to win the Super Bowl, not go back to what you were, and that was barely getting there. You were supposed to be in the Super Bowl this year. This is your Super Bowl year. Your window's only there so much, man, before it shuts officially. And you got play calling that's just horrendous, bro. It's a joke, bro. It's a joke. And I don't understand this offense, man. Look at the fans, man. This is our fans, bro. How are we doing them in service, man?
Super Bowl in for the Super Bowl in for the Super Bowl.
All right, let me find a better one. Look at this, man. I want y'all to watch this. Look at this. Look at this shit, man. Give me a second. Look at this. That's our fans. They're getting tired of this shit. This was yesterday. You watch our fans walk out. They were disgusted. They should be. And you don't want to make changes, Nick? I don't know how Jeff Lou and Al Roseman allowed this. Jeff Lou got to be hearing this, man. There's no way he cannot be hearing this and say, I have to make it. You got to make a change, man. You cannot continue to allow this to happen. Look at the fans, man. The fans don't deserve this. We're the best fans in the world. We don't deserve this shit. It's embarrassing that you have an experienced doofus running this shit show. Running this shit show. And it starts with the coaching. It starts with the coach. You got to fire Nick if the collapse, man. You have, because it's going to be that selfish and stubborn. You know what? Hey, man, you want to fall on the sword? You want to fall on the sword? I think that you got to pay the piper. I think you got to pay the piper. If you want to fall on your stubbornness and not make any changes, Nick, and you don't want to do anything to help your football team, and you're like, no, we're not going to change play calling. When the fans are doing this, they're screaming, fire Kevin Batulu. There's fire Kevin Batulu signs everywhere. They were like, in the chants, fire Kevin Batulu. Fire Kevin. And you're like, at the press conference, we're not making any changes. You're doing this service to yourself. You're hurting yourself, man. It's a joke. It's disgraceful that this guy would do this to his fans. How is you employed, bro? How is you employed when you're doing this shit? Yeah, there's no way Nick will be back. I think Nick is getting fired this year. I think Nick is gone. I think it's going to get that bad. Because once you cross the fans, man, it's a whole new story. You don't like us booing? Well, play better. If you don't like us booing, play better. Coach better. Be better. How are you going to tell us as fans not to boo? You put a shitty product out there on a home game, Black Friday. All these fans come out in the world, they're freezing their ass off to watch this pathetic, garbage, putrid, trash-ass offense every week. You want to get mad at the fans? That man went to the fans like, hey! I was like, are you serious? When I saw that, I lost respect for him. I'm glad they're abandoning the tush push next year. Got offensive pieces where we don't need it. And hopefully a new offensive coordinator comes in with a head coach that knows how to use anything but the tush push. Because that tush push shit is done. I agree. I think it's done. I don't think it's gonna get banned because I don't think it's gonna be I don't care whether it gets banned or not. This shouldn't be our only play. I think that's our only play that we use. And I just think it's a joke, bro. I think this team's a joke. This team's a joke, man. They don't want to win. It just shows. They're incompetent. They're pathetic. They don't want to win. And you know what? Hey, man. That's how you feel. That's how you feel. I mean, how are you this incompetent? I think you got to get rid of the coach, man. If the coach collapses another year, I think you got to fire him. I think you got to fire Nick, and I think you got to get him up out of here. If he cannot fix his ways, if you're willing to be this stubborn, then how can I ask you to lead my men to battle? You can't ask a guy to lead you to battle when he's not willing to battle himself and be the head coach and fight for your players. It's just that it doesn't work like that. It doesn't. Who don't know how to win? And as a head coach and offensive coordinator, we got incompetence, and you're seeing it. You got incompetence. We got incompetence, and we got a head coach that's incompetent. We got offensive coordinator that's incompetent and a head coach. So again, I mean, I cannot just blame the players. And the coaching has been a malpractice. And we're seeing playing a good football. They're not. But again, the coaching has to get these guys prepared. It starts with coaching. You can't expect players to play good when coaching has not done their job. And they have not done their job. Sorry for stuttering. He said this team's literally went yesterday was Thanksgiving excuses. Yeah, hey man, we just gotta see what they do, man. I hope they change their ways. I really do, but I think it's too late. I think the coach is going to be packing his bags soon. I think Nick is fired. I'll say this a lot. I don't think Nick is going to last this year. If we collapse the way I think you got to bring a new coach in again. You can't bring a coach back who you can't do that. No, that's not fair to your players, man. And Nick, I don't think provides anything. I don't. I think that he's on a hot seat already. I think that first year when he collapsed in 2023 was a hot seat. And I think that's what will give him some grace, but not that much. I think this will be his downfall. I think that stubbornness of not making adjustments will be his downfall. It should be. If he gets another chance, man, then Jeffrey Lloyd and Howard Roseman have not learned. Because if this coach is not willing to make adjustments, then you got to fire him. There's no way. If he's not willing to make adjustments by not giving the offense coordinator to take it away, or not even firing Kim O'Toole, just take away his play call. Let him go back to what he used to do. Demote him to another position. You don't got to necessarily fire him, but just demote him. Take away that's a problem. That means you're willing to be buddies rather than be a coach. You're willing to sacrifice his team rather than be the coach and say, you know what? My friends can't always be right. And I can't always friends, you can't always be friends, man. You got to be a coach. You have to be a leader, man. And unfortunately, this guy's not a leader. I don't blame journalists for keep him and have him a better offense. Yeah, I mean, I would hire a guy like Kubiak. Like I said, I'm all for getting a guy like Kubiak. A guy like who's in this Kyle Shanahan tree or McVay tree. And get a guy that's offensive mind. I want an offensive mind coach that has experience at coaching and calling plays. I'm tired of hiring guys that don't have experience. We need a guy who can call plays, not a guy who wants to hire offensive coordinators every week and then hires friends. No, that's not a coach. Eventually you just got to put your foot down and say, you know what, enough is enough. If you have another collapse, man, which I think it's going to be, I don't know. I mean, we're going to find out what this team is all about because if they can lose to the Chargers, what are you going to say? I think this team will fall apart, unfortunately. And I don't think it's going to get better, man. Jones can play better, but he just needs a real coach. I think Jalen Hurts is just giving up. I think Jalen Hurts gave up. When you are stuck to play a system that you're not comfortable with as a player, as an athlete, you just lose the habit. You just don't care anymore. And you just start losing patience. And eventually you just say, all right, it is what it is. And I think that's what's happening. I think Jalen Hurts losing interest of playing in his system. They're not listening to the players are not being listened by the coaches. The coach is not listening to players. And it's showing. I can't wait to see what Hard Knocks is. I can't. And these coaches react in Hard Knocks. It's going to be fun. Not fun, but it's going to be entertaining. I want to see what's really behind the scenes because I think we're missing something. I think there's some scenes behind the scenes, stuff that we're not seeing that we should be seeing. And I can't wait for the Hard Knocks to expose that. That's why Hard Knocks is great. You get to see this. Sometimes you need to see it to make changes. And unfortunately, I think we need to see the drama. I want to see how the coaches and the players' reactions. I want to see that. And I can't wait to see it. Because I know they recorded this. Oh, I definitely know they recorded this. They definitely did. And the Cowboys game. Definitely they recorded some of those losses. And I want to see how they react. I hope we get the best out of it. I want to see, it would not surprise me if we see some Jalen frustration on the hard knocks. You know what I'm saying? I can't wait. I'm excited for hard knocks for the first time because I've been begging for the Eagles to be on hard knocks. It's bad. Your quarterback's regressed. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard for me to say because I love Jalen, but he's not playing like a top 5 quarterback. And that's fine. That's fine. Because I know now I can go get an offensive coordinator in mind that can fix him. I want a coach that can at least try to fix him. I want a guy like Kubiak, like I said, Clint Kubiak, whatever his name is. What's his name? What's his name again? Forgot his name. But if we get a new head coach, I want that guy, or I want a Lincoln Riley, or Lane Clint. Yeah, Lane Clifton, or what's his name? Lane Clint. What is his name? Lane Kifflin. Excuse me. Sorry, I butchered his last name. They get an offensive mind. Someone that's going to listen to these players. Someone's going to help these players out. That's going to be a great motivator for them. Guys are going to believe in. Guys are going to have a system that's going to our input. And you know, and the thing is, if you got a play call that can actually call plays, when the offense corner leaves, lo and behold, you don't got to hire off. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, it is what it is. And if Nick is being stubborn, let's say he's not willing to change his ways, then I think you got to get fired, bro. And I think Nick is making a big mistake by not demoting his offensive coordinator. I'm not saying you got to fire him too, because you're not going to fire him. But you got to demote him. You got to put him back where he was. You got to do something. I get it. It may not work. But as a head coach, if you're willing to try to help your football team by saying, you know what, hey, man, let's take away his play call and let's see if we can do something different. That just shows me you at least try to care. Whether it don't work or not, it shows me that you care at least. It shows me you give a damn. That I'm willing to do whatever I can to try to help this football team, to help my quarterback. That would help the players because that shows to the players, I care. And you're not willing to do that. You're not willing to do that. And that pisses me off. Because I would think that Nick would be more mature, right? To say, you know what, this offensive coordinator stinks. And yeah, I'm not going to fire him, but I'm going to demote him back to receiver coach. Just go back to where you were. We tried it. It didn't work. And let's go get some. Let's bring this guy. What's his name? The offensive the quarterback coach. Let's promote him and see what happens. We're still going to run my system, but we're going to at least have a balance off. We're going to try to fix this. You know, just do something different. I'm not saying it would work, but try something different. No, we're going to try the same thing over and over again. And that makes me mad because that means you don't care. You're willing to sacrifice, if it means your whole team, for pride. Because you're not willing to fire or demote your buddy. And that means you can get up out of here, man. Because that's a stubborn coach. That's a guy I can't put my trust in. One of the reasons why Jalen struggles so much is because he has to learn a new system every year. Yeah, I think that's part of it too. When you are in a system every year, this will probably be his fourth coach and his 11th offensive coordinator in the last year, 4 to 5 years now. I think Nick is fired this year. I think Nick is going to be gone this year. That's my prediction. Nick Sally will be fired this year. And Jeffrey Lurie, if he is smart, will go get an offensive mind. He should. If he's smart. If he's a smart owner like I think he is. We'll go get an offensive mind. Maybe go get Lincoln Riley and say, hey, bro, we'll pay you whatever we can. We'll go bring your offensive coordinators, guys that you want. Come in there and fix your quarterback. Go fix her off. We've got receivers for you. You don't got to do too much. All you got to do is bring your system in. You got AJ, you got Devontae, you got Saquon Barkley. All we got to do is get a guy Then those guys. Well, listen, man. You got these guys locked up. Okay. I'm not training AJ. I'm not training Devontae. I'm not training Jalen Hurts. I'm firing the coach before I do that. Training AJ will be the last thing I do. I need a coach. A coach who can call plays. You know what I'm saying? Our Patriot fans getting happy. Oh, come to New England next year. No, bro, we fine. We don't need you. You're fine. You don't need them. Let's go hire a coach that knows how to call plays. Let's go fix the quarterback. You fix the quarterback. You don't get rid of them. You don't get rid of receivers. They're not the problem. It's the coaching. And people want to get rid of all these guys. No, the problem is the coach. He needs to pack his bags, man. I think he overstayed his welcome. I believe Nick will be fired once we miss the playoffs. I do too. I think Nick is on thin ice. And I've said this. I've said this, man. I think Nick is on thin ice. I think he's out of here. Hopefully Hard Knocks put the truth. By the way, I sent you the link, Nikki Steele, if you want to come on. Check your Instagram. I know you saw it. That's the link if you want to come on for a little bit. I don't know if you're busy. Al forces everyone to look and marry. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Again, when your players are doing this, man, when your players are doing this, bro, it sends a message to the owner. And I'm glad the fans are doing this. Because at what point do you not make changes? I feel bad for the fans. I would not go to any more games. Why would I pay money to go to the games? You show me that you're pathetic. And it's just embarrassing. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I'm angry. I'm angry. And I think it's disgraceful that the owner is allowing this to happen. Knowing that you saw a 2023 collapse and you're willing to let that happen again. If I'm the owner, I'd make adjustments now. I'd fire the offense coordinator and I'd tell Nick, hey, if you don't get this shit right. Matter of fact, I would fire the offense coordinator today and I would put Nick on notice. You got a couple days to prove me that you're the head coach. If you can't get these guys going, you're fired too. My eyes would be on Nick. I'd fire the offense coordinator and I'd say, you got to show me something. You got to show me something. If you don't do nothing, you should be fired too. I think Nick should be fired this year. If we can't get this, if we collapse and we go one and done, you got to fire the coach, man. And you got to go get an offensive mind. I don't want any retreat. I want an offensive mind. Lincoln Riley or Clint Kubiak, the offense coordinator for the Seahawks. I need an offensive mind coach that can call plays. Because when I look at Ben Johnson, I see, damn. That must be great to have, right? A coach that could call plays. An offensive genius. Changing the culture. Changing the culture. Over there. They looking good over there. They're not the same old Bears. There's no way this ownership is under. But see, I don't know about that one. We're in the week, week 13 now, coming up. And we have not seen one change. Our boy, we hiding. What's up, dude? He said Kevin Pussy Sulo and Kevin Patty Cakes. Kevin Pudding. He stinks, bro. He stinks. He stinks. Shout out to my guy hiding. I don't know if you want to tell him or not. I think you're going to tell him, so I ain't going to put your business out there. But, yeah, man, shout to you, bro. Shout to you. Yeah, he's horrible. He's a joke. I think Nick is gone. I think Nick is getting fired. That's my prediction. I think Nick is done. Because you just got to get him up out of here. I mean, if he's not willing to make changes, you just got to fire him. I want this coach fired. Because you cannot have another collapse season, man. You know what I'm saying? Nick Steele, I sent you the link there if you want to come on, bro. I don't know if it works on IG, but it is what it is. Yep, I'm having a baby. Congratulations, Hayden. Yeah, Hayden's becoming a father. Congratulations, dude. Hope you have a. I hope you're. I know you're going to be a great dad, bro. I know you're going to teach him right from wrong. So I'm excited for you, dude. That's wonderful, bro. Yeah. Yeah, Ben Johnson's a genius. I like Ben Johnson's offense. I like Ben Johnson's offense. Yeah, congratulations to Hayden, bro. That's wonderful, dude. That's wonderful. It is. It's a great it's a great thing to have a guy who call plays, man. And I just wish we experienced that. Unfortunately, and listen, man, it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. But you know what? We gotta hope for the best. We gotta hope that Nick continues to do what he does because, sometimes you gotta lose more games to get better coaches. I would say better players. No, I don't think we should be tanking, but like I said, I don't believe in that bullshit. But I hope we win, man. I wish nothing but the best for this team. I really do. But this team's pathetic. They are. They're not a good. They're not a good team. They're just not. They're not coached well. They're not good enough. I don't think they're good enough to make the playoffs, in my opinion. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think they are what they are. A joke. And I think that we got to honor that's what they are. And Jeff Lurie got to make some changes, man. You cannot continue to have this same shit show over and over every week. Jeffrey needs to grow a dick. He can't let Nick get away with it with this. Yeah. I hope. You gotta have some balls to do that, man. And I hope he does. I'm 20. He said, I'm 22 years old. I'm watching bullshit. Well, I'm 25. I'm watching bullshit. Welcome to my world, too, bro. You know what I'm saying? I like that they're starting Tanner McKee. Like they think they think of starting Tanner McKee is going to change. I hear people say that. And it's like, all right, man. Like if you think that's the problem, it might work for one game, but it's not going to work for all of it. Eventually, Tanner McKee's going to have the same issues. Like they try to sit there and say, oh, if you put Minshew would work out. Look how that turned out. He stunk versus the Cowboys, and he stunk versus the Minnesota Vikings. And we were begging for Jalen Hurts. It's one irrational statement after the other. It's not the players. It's the coaching. It's not. It has nothing to do with the quarterback. And I think if you bench Jalen Hurts, you will officially ruin him. You know what I'm saying? You don't bench quarterback. You let him play it out this season. He deserves to play it out this season. He earns that right. You know what I'm saying? He deserves to play it out this year. He deserves it. He's a Super Bowl MVP. You don't bench a Super Bowl MVP, man. You don't do that. It's wrong. What does that send to your team? You bench a Super Bowl MVP, that would be disgraceful. They're not going to bench Jalen Hurts, man. That would be dishonest to do that. That's dishonest. That's distasteful. That's disheartening. As a coach staff, you don't do that to your quarterback, man. You don't. When it's not his fault. It's the coach staff. You want to bench someone, bench KP for play call. That's who you should bench. KP. Bench him, put him on the bench. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. The ownership is like the Eagles are, but we have dumb managers in Eagles running this team with Howie and Jeff. I don't think Howie and Jeff Lurie dumb. Howie's not the issue. Listen, Howie did as much as he could to try to fix his team. It's up to the coaching at this point. Howie only could do so much. Now, did Howie make mistakes in the offseason by not signing Isaiah Rodgers and C.J. Gardner-Johnson? Absolutely. But then Howie went back. What did he do? He drafted Jahad Campbell. He went out and got Makuba. He fixed those issues. He went out and signed a cornerback. He went to trade for a corner. He did his part. He traded for Jalen Phillips, who I think you got to bring back at this year because I think he's having a great year. Him and Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, I would bring those guys back. And the Kobe D. Replace him, not so much. I'll let him walk and go get a safety. But no, I don't think Howie's at fault. I think the coaching is just horrible. Only so much of Howie can do. What can Howie possibly do? He gave you the players. Dude, at this point, it's the coaching. You got a locker room coaching problem. It's nothing to do with the GM. The GM only can do so much, man. It's unfortunate that the coach is not just they're not good enough. Nick is an issue with this team. Everyone knows it. Nick is a great for rebuilding a team like 2021 to build a culture, but he is not a guy for a Super Bowl contending team. I think Nick would be perfect if he had an offensive coordinator every year that could call plays. The problem is these offensive coordinators that are good, they leave because once we go to the Super Bowls, like Kellen Moore and Steichen, they go out quickly. And then Nick got these guys that he knows, these buddies, the Brian Johnsons, the KPs. And they have no clue. And that's the problem. But I also think that Nick is stubborn sometimes. Nick gets an ego. Nick has an ego right now. And it's bigger than ever. Ever since he won the Super Bowl, he thinks he's untouchable. And I think that if you have another collapse season, I think that you got to fire the coach, because you don't bring a coach back if you collapse another season. What are you saying to your players? That you're going to go back to the same coach that you didn't have interest in before? Then you're definitely going to lose the locker room. Every leadership that you lost, that you probably had, is probably gone now. You know what I'm saying? In 2023, when I said we should have fired the head coach, they brought it back. I'm like, why? I would have never brought the head coach back. I would have fired Nick and then wait for Ben Johnson to be the head coach and go get him. That's what I would have done. But they brought Nick back, and they go and get Kellen Moore, who I liked the hire. They go and bring Vic Fangio, and they were willing to work for it. You know, another year with Nick. And Nick was great last year because he had a play caller. The problem is when he doesn't have a play caller, he's horrible. And he doesn't know how to make adjustments. And he's stubborn. And I think it's showing again. I think that we're seeing the same patterns that we saw in 2023 with him not being able to understand that he got to read the room. Nick has a hard job of reading the room. And I think it's childish sometimes. Each one, you're so right about Nick being with good coordinators. Whatever, it's like we know good offense coordinators will leave for head coaching jobs. Then the Eagles will keep having the KPME. And that's the problem. And then you have another offense coordinator coming yet again. Jalen's going to have to learn a new system yet again. When all you got to do is just say, you know what, at this point, we got to move on, Nick. Great. You won the Super Bowl. Send it to Doug Peterson and go get a guy who knows how to call plays. Or go hire Frank Wright that won't be having another job opportunity. Probably will never get a coaching job again. That will be here for 4 to 5 years. You got to do something. You got to take away, you either got to strip away Nick's play calling permanently. And you got to say, hey, Nick, whatever you do not have access to calling plays. You do not pick your play callers. We pick them for you. Your job is to motivate these guys. That's it. You have no interest. You better not have any interest in calling plays. Don't stick your hand. You are not allowed to have any input in play call. You're officially banned from that. Or you got to fire him. And you got to go get an offensive mind like a Clint Kubiak from Seattle or a Lincoln Riley that Jalen Hurts knows that can come in there who's an offensive mind. Or you go to a guy like Lane Kifflin, who I don't think is going to be an NFL coach because I think he's going to be college again. So that probably wouldn't be an option. So you either got to go get a guy like a Frank Wright, who's going to be an older offense coordinator that's going to be here for 5 years, or you fire the head coach and you go get a Clint Kubiak, a guy that's from Seattle that's an offense coordinator that's like a Ben Johnson that's going to be a head coach. If I'm Jeffrey Lloyd, I fire the head coach because I don't think Nick brings anything really. I think he's a good motivator, but I think the players are just tired of Nick. They need a fresh mind. I think it would be best to fire Nick and go get an offensive mind like a Clint Kubiak who can bring a system like a McVay and Shanahan offense that would work well with these receivers, work well with this quarterback. You need a quarterback-friendly system, and you don't have that with Nick unless he is an offense coordinator. Once you lose the offense coordinator, you're back to another Doug Peterson situation. Another, I can't call plays as a head coach. And now it's like, oh, we got to rely on another experienced offense coordinator because nobody is staying more than 2 years because everybody's getting taken. As soon as you win a Super Bowl, they pick out. Look how Shane Steichen was able to get a job quickly. Jonathan Gannon was able to get a job quickly. These guys are leaving. The only reason why Fangio's not getting a job quickly is because he's older. But if he was younger, he would have got a job immediately after the Super Bowl. I'm just going to say Jalen Hurts is the best Eagles quarterback I've ever seen, and we're just running with different offensive coordinators. Also, next year, I think Christian Parker will be a head coach. I think you're going to lose him. I think Clint Hurst is going to be gone, which fucking stinks because now you got to go and get another brand new coaches. where I just think you just got to go and get an offensive coordinator. Let him bring his defense coordinator minds. Let him, I love Fangio, but if Fangio got to go to be sacrificed for us to get a brand new coach staff, then I'm willing to do it. I like Fangio. But if we're willing to bring another coach staff in and they like to bring their new defense, I don't care at this point. Bring them in. Bring them in. If they like Fangio, so be it. If they don't, and they think another defense coordinator is better, and his young mind that's aggressive, so be it. I don't care. I'm just tired of not having an offense coordinator, head coach that can actually call plays. I'm tired of that. I think it's affecting our team. I think it affects the quarterback. I think it affects our whole roster in general. I think it does. I think it messes up our offensive players' mindset. I think it hurts A.J. Brown's mindset, and I think it messes with him. I think it hurts Devontae Smith's mindset. You can't continue to have the same coach when he's been collapsing if he collapses again, you gotta get him up back. I don't know how you can bring him back. How are you going to tell the players, hey, by the way, we're bringing Nick back again when he just collapsed again? How do you say to A.J. Brown, look him in his eyes, and Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley and Devontae Smith say, hey, by the way, we're bringing Nick back? How do you guys not know? How do you not know he's not going to do this again? Unless you tell the players, Nick will not have any input in play call. But he's still going to be in the building. And you still got to believe in him. When he's not listening to you. He's not listening to the players. If I'm a player, at that point, I'd be saying, bro, trade me. I want out. I can't deal with this. You know, at that point, it's like, bro, I don't know if the players want to buy into it. Because that's when you create bad chemistry. That's when you create dividing the locker room. You know? Fangio was a head coach and it didn't work out for him. No. And I like him as a defense coordinator. But who knows? If you are a guy like, and that's the thing about hiring a new head coach, they're probably going to bring their own defense coordinator mind in. So Fangio might not be here next year if we fire Nick Sirianni. Unless the offense coordinator mind that we bring in likes Fangio's defense. But you never know. If you hire the Seahawks offense coordinator, he might say, you know what, I don't like Fangio's defense. I might want another defense coordinator in mind. All right. Well, then Fangio got to go. Or you don't hire that guy. And you're stuck with Nick. And that's the thing, man. I think Nick was brought in. Fangio and Nick worked well together. But I don't know if the offense coordinator that we bring in, and that's the thing about offense coordinator. You know what I'm saying? He's going to want his new coach. He's going to want his new offense. He's going to want his new defense coordinator. He's going to want his new linebacker coaches, everything like that. But I'm okay with that. If that means getting a brand new coach staff that's going to be willing to gel with these players, that's going to get these players well, and I think we got players already for them. So whoever we bring in, I think they'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. If we collapse again, get rid of Nick. Absolutely. But I'm saying if you get rid of Nick, you might lose Fangio too. Because the new offense coordinator is going to want to bring his own coach staff in. So if this is the last year of Fangio, then I think Fangio has done a wonderful job. And I will never forget what he did. But I really don't want to fire the head coach, really, unless I really have to. I hope Nick can get his head out of his ass. Just take away the play calling. Bring someone in. Just try something different. Have these guys. We wouldn't be talking like this if we just hired an offensive mind. Jeffrey Lurie wanted to continue to let Nick call. And it's Jeffrey Lurie's fault for allowing this. And I think if you bring a new head coach, and more likely Jeffrey Lurie ain't going to hire a guy like what I want because he's probably going to hire another puppet. He's going to hire another Nick Sirianni. If I'm Jeffrey Lurie, I would hire a guy that's opposite Nick. I would hire a guy that can actually call plays that's an offensive mind. But we'll see. Hope Nick can get it right too, but I doubt it. Yeah. Well, that's another thing. Is Jeffrey Lurie going to change his ways? How many more times are you going to hire guys that are puppets? If you're Jeffrey Lurie and you see a guy like Ben Johnson, why wouldn't you not want a guy like that? Is Jeffrey Lurie going to say, you know what? I'm going to go back to the Indianapolis tree. And I'm going to hire a guy like Alou, this dude, the defense coordinator for the Colts that's projected to be a head coach. Hire a guy from the Indianapolis tree. or hire a guy that no one knows about. That wasn't one of our top lists. If you fire Nick, you better hire a guy like Lincoln Riley, or you better hire like a Kubiak. That's who I want. I don't want a guy. If I hear Johnny George from fucking Johnny George, the new head coach for the Eagles, no one heard of him. I'm gonna get pissed off. Breaking news: the Philadelphia Eagles hire Jamie Johnson from he was the wide receiver coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And he was the offensive, he had some experience. I'm going to get mad. Jamie John. We need to hire someone from college. You don't even need to necessarily hire guys from college. You got a guy that's in Seattle that's going to be the head coach next year that I would bring in. Clint Kubiak is going to be a head coach next year because the Seattle Seahawks more likely will be in the playoffs. He will be a head coach. The risk about Lincoln Riley is, does Lincoln Riley want to be the NFL head coach? And if he comes to Philadelphia, he's not going to want Fangio as the defense coordinator because that's probably not going to be his scheme. So would you hire a brand new coach staff? And some of the players that were here might not be here. You know what I'm saying? So it is interesting. You know, that's the difference. That's when you bring in a new coach. Sometimes they players don't fit. You know what I'm saying? But I think Lincoln Riley would fit with AJ. I think he would fit with Devontae. I think he would fit with Jalen. I think Saquon will love his offense because he believes in running the football. And he would have these guys playing hard. I do. I think Lincoln Riley would be a perfect coach for us, man. I think he's going to be. I would think he would be Philly tough. Now let me show you why I say that. Hold up, let me show you why. I had a clip that I was posting. Give me a second. Give me a second. Let me show you why I want Lincoln Riley. Hit that like button. Appreciate y'all for watching. It's 11:56. We've been here for a while, bro. We've been here for a while. Let me show you why I like Lincoln Riley. Listen to him talk, bro. I want y'all to listen to a guy that talks and hear the football intelligence. And that is something that I think we're missing. You know what I'm saying? Lincoln Riley. Where's it at, man? Number one, loves Jalen Hurts. But number two, I posted this a while ago. No, I posted this yesterday. Where's it at, man? Might be on the message. There we go. All right, I think this is it. Because I'm very upset. I love Lincoln Riley. I think he's an expert. I think he understands it. But watch the player's reaction, man.
When you're on the ground running it for 7 yards a carry and Jalen Hurts is on the sideline,
watch the player's
it's
reaction.
like a
and then I'll get to Lincoln
boxer
Riley.
that's just body.
This is how you know Nick lost the locker up. Just look at the body language. Give me a second. Hold up. Hold up real quick. Here we go. Give me a second. Give me a second. There we go. Y'all can see that? Y'all see that? Just watch the body language, man. Hold up. God damn it, what was doing? Hold up, man. There we go.
When you're on the ground running it for
Look at the body language.
Carry and Jalen Hurts is on the
Look at this.
sideline,
The body.
it's like a
Look at the
boxer
body
that's
language.
just body blow, body blow, body blow, body blow.
Look at the body language again.
When you're on the ground running running it for 7 yards a carry, and Jalen
Heads
is
down.
it's like a
Look
boxer
defeated. He
that's
looked
just body
defeated, man.
blow, body blow, body blow, body blow.
They look defeated. And now I think that's
When you're on the ground
look
running
at
it,
Jalen Hurts' face. Look at Jalen Hurts' face. He looks like he's unmotivated. You could tell by the body language. They're tired of it. They're tired of the same stuff. Jalen Hurts is out. He's checked out. He's checked out. The body language is there, man. You could tell. You could tell how they are. That is a guy that just has enough. Had enough.
body blow, body blow, body
Hold up.
blow, body blow.
Let me pause it real quick. I'm going to show you the Saquon Barkley one.
When you're on the ground running it for 7 yards
Look at it. Look at this.
to carry it,
Look at Saquon Barkley. They're done. They checked out. That is a player that checked out, man. They're struggling because when you have guys put their head down, they look unmotivated. And we've seen it. AJ's not running his routes right. Saquon Barkley's checked out. It means that the coaching has lost them. And I think that Nick has lost the locker room. I've been saying that. You know, so this is why I want a guy like a Lincoln Riley. Where's it at, man? No one, because I think Lincoln Riley's a monster. I love his personality. I think a guy like that deserves to be here. I think he would be a great head coach. Where's it at? Well, Lincoln Riley's my first one because where's it at, man? Let me find it. Where is it at? Let me find where Lincoln. There it is. What y'all listen to this dude?
Quarterback. I heard a coach say this years ago, if your system is not a quarterback-friendly system, you need to find a new system. Baker could really process and handle a lot. Kyler, obviously, his athleticism. Yeah, and then Jalen, it's such a different scenario. At each one of those other guys.
Listen how he talks, man. Listen how he talks.
Calendar year. If I compare them all, there is far more similarities.
Really?
They got to be tough. They got to be winners. I like guys that have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, an edge about them, and those guys have all fit that bill. Quarterback. I heard a coach say this years ago, if your system is not a friendly system, you need to find a new system.
If the quarterback doesn't have a friendly system, you got to find another system. That is an offensive mind. If my quarterback ain't succeeding, I'm going to find a system that fits him. The thing I like about Lincoln Riley is he is willing to make adjustments. I also like the fact that he used these two words that fit Philadelphia. I like winners and I like toughness. That's Philadelphia. That is Philadelphia. Toughness and winners. Well, shit, you got a winner in A.J. Brown. You got a winner in Devontae Smith. You got a winner in Jalen Hurts. This offensive line, for the most part, are winners. You got a winner in his defense. Lincoln Riley is an absolute perfect coach for this offense. I think Jeffrey Lurie would be a successful owner even more for hiring him. I think Lincoln Riley deserves a chance, man. I know technically, I don't know if he would go for it, but I would hire a guy like that because listening to him,
Baker could really process and handle a lot. Kyler, obviously, his athleticism. Yeah, and then Jalen, it's such a different scenario. At each one of those other guys.
Look how he chokes up with Jalen. When he talks about Jalen, he loves Jalen Hurts. He loves Jalen Hurts. They interviewed Lincoln Riley, I believe, last year before we played the Super Bowl versus Chiefs, and he said a lot of great things. He said, this guy's a winner. They said, what do you know about him? Even in the preview when we drafted him, he said everything. He said, this guy's a winner. I like him. He's coachable. If there's one guy that can fix Jalen Hurts, it's Lincoln Riley. I think Clint Kubiak is another guy that can fix him. I think Lane Kifflin is another one. I think those three can fix him. Nick Sirianni was not meant for Jalen. Let me put my face on this again. Nick Sirianni, when they hired him, Jalen Hurts was not supposed to be the quarterback. They hired Nick Sirianni to fix Carson Wentz, essentially. Jalen Hurts became the quarterback because he beat out Carson Wentz because Carson Wentz didn't want to compete. But Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni never, ever became a match. What happened to the handshake they used to have? You ever notice they don't even do this anymore? They don't do the handshake they used to have. Where's that at again? They don't do that anymore. They don't have the cool handshake anymore. They used to do cool handshakes all the time. If you go back and watch Jalen Hurts in 2021 and 2022, you look at Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts' relationship now, I think it's divided. Nick Sirianni would talk to Jalen Hurts a lot on the sidelines. Nick Sirianni was always in Jalen Hurts' ear. You don't see that anymore. And I think it's because Jalen Hurts and Nick don't talk to each other as much. And you cannot have that as a coach and a quarterback. It might work for a certain point, but it's not going to work for long term. You need your quarterback and your coach to be talking to each other. And I think Lincoln Riley would be a perfect hire for this Eagles team. Number one, because I like his system. His system, even in with the Trojans. Look what he did with Caleb Williams. He has developed quarterbacks. Baker Mayfield. He's developed guys like Caleb Williams. And he's turned them to pro-ready quarterbacks. Most of them. The only one that's done nothing is Kyler Murray. But Baker Mayfield is in the NFL still. Kyler Murray still has a job still. Jalen Hurts still has a job still. And he's a Super Bowl MVP. Lincoln Riley is a quarterback guru. He is offensive mind genius. And I know people say, well, I want to hire a guy from college because I don't want to go back to Chip Kelly era. Chip Kelly was a dick, for number one. And Chip Kelly was not ready to be an NFL coach. Okay? Chip Kelly also, if you watch this college offense, it was not NFL ready. It was not NFL. The Eagles should have never hired Chip Kelly in the first place. He was not offensive coach to begin with. His offensive style was not NFL material. It wasn't. I know they said it was, but it wasn't. Lincoln Riley is pro NFL offense. It is. Lincoln Riley would be a very good hire. Lincoln Riley has a lot of experience. Lincoln Riley would gel right into the NFL. I think so. With an offense like ours. And I think if you have an A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Saquon Barkley and the Jalen Hurts under him, with a couple of new pieces he's probably going to add in the draft, I think this offense would be deadly. I do. And it's not hard. It's not really bad to find out. Why not give him a chance? Go outside your comfort zone. Jeff Lurie did it one time and it didn't work. Okay, try it again. You got to do something because you cannot continue to go. If the Eagles fire Nick Sirianni, more likely they'll just hire another puppet. But I hope not. You know what I'm saying? Probably not going to sign Lincoln Riley, not going to be here because we have a puppet owner. Yeah, well, that needs to change. And I hope Jeff Lurie, I think Jeff Lurie is willing to change his ways. I really do. I think Jeff Lurie is willing to make changes that will help this football team. Jeff Lurie is, then I think the Eagles interviewed Lincoln Riley before. He just didn't want to take the job. I think Lincoln Riley would take the job. I do. I think the Eagles are an attractive place for any coach and offense coordinator. If you fire Nick tomorrow, you know how many people would be lined up to take the Eagles head coaching job right now? You already got a GM that's going to make moves for you. You got a head coach already with an offense coordinator. I mean, not head coach, offense coordinator. You already got a quarterback in the building. You got receivers in the building. You got a running back. You got a defense. You got corners. Your defense and offense will be set up. All you need is an offense coordinator and a head coach, which you will be. That's all you need. Probably a new defense coordinator if you want to change your defense coordinator, or you could keep Fangio. I think Lloyd was willing to change. For example, the change of Chip Kelly for Howie Roseman allowed Howie to run things. Yeah, I agree. I want Lincoln Riley, man. That's the guy I would go for. And I think Lincoln Riley, if you offer him enough money, would do it. If you say, hey, listen, man, we want you to come to be the Eagles head coach. We want you to be Jalen Hurts head coach that he can have for a long time. And he knows how to call plays already. You have experience of it. We don't have to worry about hiring an offense coordinator anymore. We want him to have an offense coordinator more than 2 years. Come in there, fix Jalen Hurts. You're going to have AJ and Devontae already. And I think you'll be set. You know what I'm saying? I think Lincoln Riley with AJ and Devontae would be scary. I really do. I don't know how many people don't understand. Devontae Smith on a Ben Johnson offense would be cooking. Cooking. He would be the best receiver on that Bears offense. Hands down. A.J. Brown on a Ben Johnson offense would be unstoppable. Do you understand that? I don't think you understand what offensive mind would do with this weapons core. We would be scoring 50 to 60 points a clip. Tell me I'm wrong. We did it with Kellen Moore in the last 2 games. I think this offense would be explosive. You would have the best receiving core, the best running back, and an offensive mind with that offense. That offense would be gelling perfectly. It would be like icing on a cake. Blend in perfectly. Jalen Hurts would be throwing 35 to 50 touchdowns. He would look like an MVP, man. Lincoln Riley would make Jalen Hurts an MVP. I think that you would be seeing a different version of Jalen Hurts that we have not seen in a long time. Because everybody's making an assumption Jalen Hurts is trash. He's not trash. We know Jalen is capable of throwing the football. But I think he's just uninterested in playing with this coach staff. And I think Lincoln Riley would bring a different tempo to Jalen Hurts' offense. He would be comfortable because he played under him in college. And I think AJ and Devontae would settle in perfectly because they would get these guys in space. They would create separation for these guys. Guys would get open. Saquon Barkley. Lincoln Riley loves running the football. Perfect. You got Saquon and Tank Dell. I'm sorry, Tank Bisbee. Excuse me. Tank Bisbee, not Dell. Bisbee. This offense would be freaking gelling. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I would do it. I would do it. I would bring in a guy like Lincoln Riley. That is my guy. But if you can't, I bring a guy like Kubiak. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if Lincoln Riley would coach. I don't know if he went on to coach here, but I would try it. I like Lincoln Riley. I think he would be a good, awesome hire, man. He said, "Is AJ coming back here?" I think he is. I don't think AJ's getting traded. I think they're going to fire the head coach if anything, and they're going to keep AJ and they're going to go hire an offensive mind. If they trade AJ, they're the stupidest franchise. I would just be sick at this point. But we'll see.
Right. This one will barely be a calendar year. If I compare them all, there is far more similarities.
That's Jalen Hurts.
Really, they got to be tough. They got to be winners. I like guys that have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, an edge about them, and those guys have all fit that bill.
I love it, man. I love it. If your system's not a friendly, if your system is not a quarterback friendly system, then you don't have a system. I think that's beautiful. That is a coach right there. If your system is not a quarterback friendly system, you don't have a system. You don't have a system. That's Philly right there. That's toughness. That is Philly hard-nosed, blue-collar toughness that I like as a head coach. That's saying if I don't have a quarterback who knows my system, that is going to be well in my system, that I don't got a system. Because the quarterback has to be able to enjoy the system. If your system is not working for your quarterback, it's going to be disaster. And I don't think we have a system that fits Jalen. I think Jalen is just making things happen because he's special. I think Jalen's a special quarterback. And I think we're wasting his prime years by not giving him offense. By give him a Lincoln Riley, I'm telling you right now, you will have the best offense in the league. Scoring it. I'm telling you right now, we will make a lot of teams look bad. I think Lincoln Riley will get the best out of AJ. I think AJ will have a better year than he has had right in 2022. I think Devontae would go off. Bro, I'm just thinking about this offense with offensive mind. Even a Kubiak from Seattle. Just get someone who can call plays. And this offense, all it needs is an offensive mind coach. And I think this offense is going to crush teams. I do. However, I doubt AJ is going anywhere. No, I don't think AJ is going anywhere. AJ don't want to go nowhere. He's going to be here. I think so. I don't think they're going to get rid of AJ before they get rid of the coach. I think they get rid of Nick Sirianni. I think they bring a guy like Kubiak or a guy like Lincoln Riley, or they're going to bring a guy who's an offensive mind, someone who knows how to call plays. And let's say Nick don't work out, I think they bring an offensive mind in. And I think they're going to allow Jalen Hurts to actually have an offensive. Because if I'm Jeffrey Lurie, how many more times am I going to bring the same coaches? They don't work. They don't work. Bring a guy that's an offensive mind. I think the Eagles need an offensive mind coach. And McVay, Shanahan type coach that can be an offensive coach of mind that knows how to call plays. You don't have to worry about the coaching offense coordinator leaving and have to worry about a coaching being horrible because the guy can already call plays. You need an offensive mind coach, not a puppet. If you fire Nick, it's no point in going to hire another Nick. At that point, you must keep Nick. Man. If Jeff Lurie fires Nick, he better go get a Clint Kubiak from Seattle. Who I like the fact that he's willing to put guys in motion. He comes from a Shanahan tree. I think he comes from a McVay tree. I think he comes from Gary Kubiak, who was a former offense coordinator himself, was the head coach for the Denver Broncos for the 1998 or 1997 with the Broncos. He won a Super Bowl with the Broncos with Elway, Terrell Davis. So he has experience, and his sons have been doing coaching for a while. And this guy is a genius offense coordinator. I like his offensive brilliance. He brings a lot of motion, brings a lot of details. He's creative as hell, and I think he'd be perfect for the Eagles offense. I really do. Or you go get a guy like Lincoln Riley. That'd be my first choice. Bring Lincoln Riley in. I think Lincoln Riley with this offense would be dead. But if not, go get Kubiak. And listen, you got to get someone in here, man. You cannot continue to have the same coaching over and over again. It's coaching malpractice. If we collapse, you got to fire Nick and you got to go get an offensive mind. Unless Nick can make it work. And I hope Nick makes it work because I don't want to fire head coach. I really don't. I hope our coach can figure it out and make it work and somehow get on the run and win a Super Bowl. But that's just not reality. I don't think that's reality. I'm just thinking a long-term solution. If it does not work, you have to fire the coach and go get an offensive mind. If it does not work. If it does, great. Great. You know what I'm saying? But it's not working right now. And it's looking bad every week. Our offensive players do not look like they want to play for Nick. I hope that I'm wrong. But I haven't been wrong. And if we collapse again, I'll go get a Lincoln Riley. I'll go get a Lincoln Riley or I go get a Clint Kubiak out of Seattle who's going to be the head coach next year. And I go get a guy like Joe Brady. Make him the head coach. You got to get a guy who can call plays, man. And a head coach. I don't want an offensive coordinator at that point. Go get a head coach who can call plays. And let's go get on. Let's continue to have offense success. You got the players. You just need a coach, in my opinion. I think you just need a coaching change. That's all. You need a coaching change. And I don't think these players buy into Nick's system. I don't think they like what Nick is bringing. Nick is bringing nothing. They're not listening to him. And the players are putting their head down. They're not running routes right. They're running half-fast. Like you're seeing a lot of bad things that you don't want to see as a Super Bowl contender. You know, and this team's not a Super Bowl contender. Not playing like it. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is, man. But we've been on here for a while. We got 6 people here. 6 people. That's how many likes we have, man. We got 6 likes. Appreciate y'all, man. Appreciate y'all for rocking with me. I'm gonna hit the like because that's what I do. I'm gonna hit the like button because I enjoy my content too. I watch myself too. I'm just playing. But like I said, man, I think that we have a lot of issues, and I think we got to get it fixed. And if we don't get it fixed versus LA, I think you got to fire the head coach. And like I said, man, I don't want to fire the head coach, but if you got to, you got to. And I think you got to go get a guy who's an offensive mind. I would do it. That's the smart plan. Now, will Jeffrey Lurie do it? Probably not. We'll probably hire another guy who's nobody knows about and hope that he can win us a Super Bowl. But if I'm the Eagles, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. We're going to have to see. We're going to have to see how this team does. We got a game coming up on Monday Night Football. I ain't going to lie. I ain't look forward to it. I hope they win, man. I do. I hope they come out with a better game plan. They need this win, bro. You're 8-4 now? 8-4? Can't lose any more games. So you'll be 8-5 if you don't win this game coming up, bro. So, yeah, it's tough, bro. It's tough. You're 8-4, and now you're gonna be 8-5 if you lose to the Chargers. What's up, Philly halftime? What's happening, dude? But like I said, if I'm the Eagles, I'd fire Nick, and I'll go get Lincoln Riley. I'll go hire Gabe. I like Ben Johnson's offense, bro. Like Ben Johnson's offense, dude. I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. You know what I'm saying? I'm jealous of not having an offensive guy who can call plays. I think Nick is overstating his welcome. I think Nick will be fired this year if he collapses. If you don't win a playoff game, I think Jeffrey Lurie will fire him. And people say, oh, they're not going to fire the head coach. You want to make a bet? They fired Doug Peterson. Because he was stubborn. I think that this has gotten so bad. And I think that a guy like Lincoln Riley, listen, I'm all for bringing Lincoln Riley in. I want a Lincoln Riley, man. That's what I want. I want to go out there, an offensive mind that can call plays. A guy that knows how to run an offense, that's not afraid to get these guys going. Because, like, again, this offense is just horrendous. It's hard to watch. To not get rid of your offense coordinator, or not even to get rid of him, just to demote him. Put him back where he was. But the willing to say, no, we're not making changes. It just shows your stubbornness. It means that you don't care. And I'm very ashamed of Nick. I'm very ashamed that he doesn't have the offense of understanding that maybe, Nate, I need to do something different. You've been a coach. This is how you act. You know what I'm saying? But they could do cool celebration on the sidelines, but they can't get this offense figured out. It makes me mad. It makes me mad that our coach is stubborn, which I hope that, he can find a way to make it right. But if I'm Jeff Lurie, I'd fire KP today and say, hey, Nick, you're on the line. You got 5 days to show me anything. If you don't got 5 days, you got a week to show me something. If you don't, I'm firing you after this year. I think Jeff Lurie's going to fire him. I do. I really do. I mean, people might disagree with me, but I think Jeff Lurie's going to fire him. I think Nick is gone. If we collapse this year, I think Nick is out of here. KP, I'm going to lose my mind. Philly Hat Time, I sent you the link on Twitter if you want to come on, bro. You don't have to come up. You're probably busy. Also, I get a new kicker next year. Yeah, Jake Elliott. See, Jake Elliott has been up and down. Man. You got to give him competition next year. Regardless. He has missed those 2 field goals you have to make. And then you missed the one in Dallas. Those are easy points right there. You have to make those. But here's the thing, man. Well, why not go for it? Like, that's the problem I don't understand with Nick. Nick wanted to kick a field goal. Okay. And then he wanted to punt the ball yesterday. When your defense was tired. That right there pissed me off. If your defense is tired, why not go for it? You have the offense players to do it. Because they can't go for it because they're not good enough. Nick pretty much said to himself, I'm not good enough to put my offense on the line. That's what it is. I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough to not go for it because I'm scared. And I think that's weakness right there. I think that shows weakness. But I agree. I think Nick needs competition. I think Jake Elliott needs competition, man. Yeah, so look, we got the Chargers, the Raiders, the Commanders, the Bills. We're not beating the Bills, and we're not beating the Chargers. We could definitely beat the Raiders. I think we split Washington. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. I do not know. I don't know. I don't think we're gonna make the playoffs this year. Like, bro, I think we're gonna go one and done in the playoffs. I agree. You get rid of Nick and give me a head coach that can call plays. Absolutely. Clint Kubiak is a guy that I'm looking at, man. Hold on, let me pull him up real quick. Or a guy like that, Lincoln Riley. But I want to look at Clint Kubiak. I want to see how he is. Give me a second. What's his name? Clint Kubiak? Yeah. Sorry, I'm bad with names. What's his name? Kubiak? Yeah, Clint Kubiak is a guy I'm looking at. I like him from Seattle, man. He's done a phenomenal job with the offense in Seattle. I mean, his offense is right now. His offense is looking good in Seattle. I mean, they do a lot of motion. I mean, this is what they do. Let me pull it up right here. This is what they do. This is the coach I want. Bro. Look at this stuff, man. This is what I want. Look at this. Hold up. Let me pull it up. Okay. Look at this. You see that? It's beautiful, man. He said, "Give me a quarterback." We got a quarterback in Jalen Hurts. Why would you say that, Tom? Come on, bro. You giving up on Jalen Hurts now? What are you talking about? Jalen Hurts can do that. I don't think Jalen Hurts is the problem, bro. I don't think it's the problem. I think he can lead our receivers. He's done it. But we need offensive mind. I don't think we need a quarterback. I think we need offensive mind. We need a guy that can call plays. I don't know what you mean about that one, bro. What you mean about that? What you mean about that? Explain that to me. Give me a quarterback that can lead his receivers. Jalen Hurts can do that. What are you talking about? It's not the quarterback that's the issue, bro. Lead his receivers and tight ends when he's throwing it. I think he can. I think Jalen Hurts is tired of Nick. I think it's a Nick Sirianni situation. He's tired of Nick playing bad on purpose. That's what I think. I think that he's regressed a little. I think that, again, that's coaching. I think that's teachable. We know Jalen Hurts can do that. We've seen him do that. So, I mean, I don't think you got to get rid of Jalen Hurts, bro. I don't know about that. I don't know what you mean by that. But I appreciate it for the comment. I mean, everybody's a lot of different opinions. He started yelling at Devontae Smith and threw it behind Devontae Smith. No, I think he was yelling at the offense coordinator. I think he was yelling at the offense coordinator. Jalen Hurts is upset. This offense has been horrendous. Players are emotional. It happened. I'm not giving up on Jalen Hurts. I'm going to go get him a coach that can teach him before I move on. If I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm not getting rid of Jalen Hurts, man. Come on, bro. That's ridiculous. That's a little ridiculous. You know, so you don't get rid of a guy like that. You got to give him the benefit of the doubt. You got to give him at least a chance to see if he can do something with the offensive mind. We've seen him do it. I mean, Steichen. I mean, he's been to 2 Super Bowls. To say that, that's an asinine take, bro. It really is. Not saying that you're wrong, but I just think that's an asinine take, in my opinion. We need a new head coach who could call. Exactly. I think that's the issue. And that's why I want a guy like Clint Kubiak or someone like that, because we don't have a play caller. And Jalen has to play Superman. And I think that pushes pressure on him. Eagles are more worried about Hurts getting injured instead of letting him run an RP. Yeah, exactly, man. And then run the ball attempts. And I get Hurts is not, listen, no quarterback is perfect. I hate to break the news flash to you. Caleb Williams missed guys wide open. All right. Jalen Hurts is not going to have a big arm. That's not always going to be his thing. But he can throw the ball. He had the best deep ball last year. Okay, he had one of the best deep balls last year. He has an arm. All right, we've seen him throw the ball. What he needs is someone to work on his accuracy. That's all he needs. But we know he has an arm. He has it. All right. The throw to Devontae Smith, that was a beautiful ball. Jalen Hurts has great touch, great ball when it comes to throwing the ball. He can launch that ball. He needs accuracy. And he doesn't have that. And the coach staff is not. I mean, when he has a bad play, why doesn't the head coach not go to him and say, hey, bro, what were you doing? Like, you got to get into his face. He loves that. What do you say? I love when someone gets in my face and criticizes me. I like that. That makes me better. This coach staff, all they do is baby him, and he does not like that. You know, I wish no coach were afraid to criticize him. You know, look at Hurts ran over the Rams in the playoffs last season. That's what he does. Yeah, but I also think he can throw the ball. I don't think he's limited. I think this coach staff is making him like he's limited. I don't think he's limited. Put him in a Kubiak offense. Put him in somewhere like a Sam Darnold offense. If he was in Seattle right now, he'd be in MVP conversation. He would be. He would be in MVP conversation. If Lincoln Riley's our head coach next year, we would have an MVP quarterback. No question about it. That offense would be taken off. I think he's capable of running an offense. I think the coaching is a malpractice and dysfunctional. I think the coaching is malpractice and they're dysfunctional as a coaching staff. And that's my problem with him. I think he's dysfunctional. I think Nick and KP are limiting Jalen Hurts and they're taking the best strength away from him. Why are you taking the best thing? That's like taking Josh Allen's legs away from him. Is he Josh Allen? No. Look at Andy Reid taking the best thing out of Mahomes, not letting him run. Now you see what Mahomes look like. Without an offensive line, really. You know what I'm saying? Again, you need an offensive coordinator, a head coach who could call plays, and that's what my problem is. So I want Jeff Lurie to go fire Nick. If Nick collapses this year, like I said, the only way I fire Nick is if we lose the division. Let's make a mistake about it. Nick goes to the playoffs and wins a division round, then you don't fire Nick. If we go back to the Super Bowl, you don't fire Nick. But if you lose the first round, you have to fire the coach. And I would go get an offensive mind. That's what I do. Because I think the quarterback is feeling the pressure and put in a bad situation by the head coaches. I think they're not doing them a service. They're doing them a disservice, if anything. I'm saying when Hurts is running, it's a threat. He opens. Absolutely. And that's why I don't understand the RPOs. Why not go to the RPOs? In 2022, he's one of the best at it. Why not go up tempo more? That's coaching. That's a coaching malpractice. Not understanding that RPOs and up tempo, being a fast-paced offense, sometimes help your quarterback. Because, number one, it gets the defense off guard a lot. Because now they got to set. And if you're up tempo a little more, your offense start getting going. And that's sometimes how to get an offense started. You know, it's also like jet sweeps, RPOs. We don't do none of that. No motion. We don't do none of that. We do none of that. It's the same stuff over and over again. Sorry about that. We don't see that anymore. Absolutely. That's a great point. And I think there's a dysfunction between the coach and the quarterback. And that's not going to lead to long-term success. And I think the receivers are getting frustrated. I do. I don't think it's the quarterback that's the problem. Halftime sitting there saying, oh, the quarterback, I want a quarterback lead receiver. Jalen Hurts can do that. So I think that's an asinine take, man. Because if you haven't watched him, he can do that. The problem is the coaching. Does Jalen Hurts at the back at best accuracy? No. That's why I want an offensive mind. Because you can fix some of those limited restriction that he has. I'm not saying he's a 60 quarterback thrower that could throw 60 times a clip. No, that's not his game. Never was his game. He has some limitations. But as a coach, you're supposed to be able to use his strengths to his advantage, not his weaknesses. And we use his weaknesses, unfortunately, and not their strengths. We don't use our players' strengths. We use their weakness. Every single one of them. With the receivers, whether it's receivers, the running back, we don't put them in great field positions. We don't put them in great field position. That's my problem. That's my problem with Nick. The Seahawks put their quarterback in great field positions. Sam Darnold and the receivers are getting separation. They're able to create plays. Look at this stuff, man. Look at this. This is all offensive genius. Offense. Look at the motion. That is something we don't have. Look at the motion. Look at it. Look at the trickery. We don't call that. We don't call that. And it frustrates me because we got players that can do that. Let's run that offense, bro. I'll tell you one thing. Who's to see at it? I don't think people understand how good Jalen Hurts is, man. I think people take advantage of him. You know, so this guy's a Super Bowl MVP. We willing to throw him out the wolves because he can't fit. You want to fit in Nick's offense? It's trash. Quarterback. I don't care what quarterback you put any quarterback in that system right now. In Jalen's system, it's not going to work out. It's not going to work out, bro. It's not. Let me get a drink. I'm so thirsty right now. I didn't clench my thirst. No, it's soda. You know what I'm saying? A.J. Brown's been saying he has. But look at the trickery, man. Why can't our offense not do this? It frustrates me that our offense doesn't do this type of stuff. And I think it shows the lack of capability of KP and Nick. Because this is what an offensive mind does. This is what I want. This is what we needed, what we had last year. All the motion. This is what Kellen brought. Our offense looks so much better last year than it does this year. The motion. Kellen Moore wasn't the greatest offense. Different to this offense. And players were able to execute at a high level. Barkley was able to. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look at this, bro. This is an offensive mind. This is a great play caller. This is a head coach this is an offensive coordinator that's going to be a head coach soon. And I want a guy like that. I want a guy who can do this stuff. When you got a guy like that, that's an offensive mind, that understands the game, that understands the development of players, that puts guys in the right positions to succeed. Not only you make your quarterback better, you make your whole offense better. Could you imagine what AJ and Devontae and Saquon could do with this offense? I can. It'd be electric. It'd be beautiful to watch. Wouldn't it be beautiful for other teams because they couldn't be able to stop them? Because we would be destroying. We would be put up 40 points. And Saquon had a Bisbee. It's me. You know? It frustrates me. Hold up. You know, like I look at some of these situations. Let me see some of Lincoln Riley's offense. Like, this is the difference. This is what I want. I want an offense like this, man. Hold on, let me see it. Let me see if I can find some tape on that. See if I can find some tape on. Hold on. Let me see if I can find some tape. Let me see if I can find some tape. Hit that like button. Appreciate y'all for watching as always. Without y'all, this content does not work. But look at this. Let me see. Mute this.
Picks right here for man. Just really, and it's a really easy progression. This progression never changes for us, no matter what.
Look at this, dude. Man, it's beautiful.
So again, first read on this vert. Our whole deal in this play, and the way I push our quarterbacks in this play is don't let them play the X receiver, the single receiver one-on-one. If they do that, then they can squeeze this play. They can add an extra defender to this part of the play, and we can lose our advantage. When they start taking that high free safety and running him over here, or they start cover 2 in this thing, then we are going to have numbers back here, 100%. But they can't play us one-on-one. So easy decision here for the quarterback, low safety, one-on-one, a lot of field to use. Here we go. This is a great play, and you're going to see a shot of it here in a second. If you've got a tailback that's an elite athlete that you like to get him out in space, you'll get a lot of free, easy throws on this, because even this, if we've got an elite tailback right here, we love that matchup, especially getting him out there to the field like that. Even if the backer's running out there with him, make him.
See how he talks, man. I love listening to this.
We
dude,
always
man.
try to put our speed
Such a
receiver in the
genius.
slot, because that's where you're going to get that pick in man, and then even in zones. That
I love the
becomes a
breakdown too.
difficult
Look at
pass
the
off.
offense,
See a shot
man.
here versus Tennessee
That
in a second.
is an
Second, I'll show
offensive
you.
mind.
This dig needs to get more depth.
Excuse me.
Okay, one big deal for us on this
Bless
play is
you.
we want this shallow and this dig on different levels. So
Look at
what
that.
you're gonna see is
Woo!
like how close these guys are to each other right now. That's too close. So we would want that dig to be better with his hands right through here. Get
I
more
like that
depth,
technique.
so that shallow
Detail.
is clearly in front of the dig.
That's beautiful, and that's offense I'm looking at, man. And I think Jalen would thrive under that. I really do. I don't think it would be complicated for him. That is an offensive mind. You see how detailed he is? Here's another play. Look at the offense, man. I mean, this is the offensive mind I like. Look at that. Quarterback, trickery right here. Is that the quarterback throwing the ball? Let's see. Nope, it's a trick. Look at this. I like that. I like the trickery right there. No one sees it coming. It's beautiful, man. I like the offensive split. That is what Ben Johnson does, man. That's what some of these offensive corner minds have. And I like those type of offense. I don't like the stale offense. The West Coast BS shit that we have with having a puppet offense coordinator. You know what I'm saying? Again, this is what got it that can move the offense. Look at the offense, man. This is under Lincoln Riley this year. Look at this. Trickery, beautiful execution, man. It's you don't know what's coming. He's a mastermind. He's a genius offense coordinator. Slash head coach who could call plays, man. And you don't have to worry about him, losing his offense coordinator, because I think he could call plays. Oh, so yeah. But it is what it is, man. It is what it is. I mean, I don't know, man. Jenny, because we'd rather throw short passes behind the line of scrimmage for negative yardage. Yeah. How come our offense can't do simple slants and how come offense can do something? Because we don't got an offensive coordinator, bro, or a head coach who can call plays. Those are guys who can call plays, man. We don't got that. We got a offensive coordinator 1 year, and then we lose him, and next year we have a guy who can't call plays, who's Nick's buddy. Nick Sirianni is not an offensive mind. He is a regular motivator / head coach that calls himself a head coach. Who's not a head coach, really. A head coach is able to call plays. Not all of them, but the best do. And he is a guy that is benefited off the talent. He's Brett Brown. That's why I call him Brett Brown 2.0. He is Brett Brown 2.0. He is a motivator at best. He is not a coach who can call plays. He's not an offensive mind that can call plays if our offense coordinator goes down or go down. If our offense coordinator leaves, we're screwed because he can't call plays. Sorry for stuff. Can't get my tongue. He said Hurts ran 150 times for 630 yards last season. This season, 12 games, 84. Yeah, a big difference, absolutely. And it just shows Kellen Moore was the genius behind his offense. He wasn't the greatest offensive mind, but he has experience, and that's all you needed. You don't got to be the genius offense to run this offense. All you got to do is know how to call plays, and this offense will gel. And I don't think we have that right now. We don't have that right now. And it's clear as daylight we don't have it. So, like I said, man, we're going to see what happens. But like I said, Nick gets fired. I want a guy like that. I want an offensive mind. And I think, when you have the talent like A.J. Brown and Devontae, you fall apart the way you do, you have no choice but to go get an offensive mind, in my opinion. Because you have to sabotage the season for the following year by getting a head coach that knows how to use these players. I think it would be disservice to hire a guy like another Nick Sirianni. We run third and long and pass. Yeah, the coach is stupid, man. We got to go. And then he says afterwards in the press conference after the game, we got to go evaluate everything. What do you got to evaluate? You suck. There's nothing to evaluate. The guy didn't even know that the Bears gave up more yardage, 3.5 yards to a tight end, and he didn't even know about it. And Dallas Scott didn't even know about it. They're just they're unprofessional, man. The coach is so I don't know, man. They make me mad. Every time I think about the game yesterday and Cowboys game, it makes me freaking mad. It makes me mad that we should have beat these teams, and we're not because we have coaching malpractice. And you wouldn't think that after you won a Super Bowl, you would think this offense would be better, and it's not. We're back to square one where we had been before, and I hate that. I hate that because you just won a Super Bowl and your goal is to win another one, and you're in a situation where you still have no identity. And you're going to week 13. You're going on the road now after losing to a embarrassing fashion way to the Bears on Black Friday. And now you're going on the road to the Chargers game in L.A. with Justin Herbert, who has an offensive mind head coach like a Jim Harbaugh. Good luck with that one. We're going to get out-coached again because Jim Harbaugh is an offensive mind. We don't have that. We don't have that. We got Dummy and Dumber. McDummy and McDumber as our offensive minds. Yeah, all right. McDummy and McDumber. Mo and Curly. Yeah, Nick feels like an average Eagles fan would have. Yeah, he's a cheerleader. That's all he is. He's a cheerleader. He's a cheerleader. That's a motivator. He's Brett Brown. He's a Brett Brown with Eagles passion as a fan. That's all he is. And you know what? It is what it is, bro. But I got to get up out of here, man. I got to go do things. Have a good one. Enjoy your day. Fly, Eagles, fly. And I'm out. Go Birds. We'll be talking about more soon down the road. You have a good one.